So to your first half commentaries then on 95.7 FM in Plymouth and West Devon, on DAB digital radio and online via the BBC Sounds app. It's the whole of Torquay United's West Country derby at Weston-Super-Mare with Dave Thomas from the Torquay Weekly and first of all, Alan Richardson.
Yes, many thanks, Caroline. Welcome along then to the the Woodspring Stadium, which of course is the home of Weston-Super-Mare. And we'll have commentary on the whole of Torquay United's game here coming up very shortly. Just waiting for the two sets of players to come out onto the pitch. But if you were missing that team news a little bit earlier, Asa Hall coming in for Tom Lapsley. And in many ways, if they can't have Tom, well, at least they've got Asa back, I suppose, Dave.
Yeah, I think obviously Lapsley provides, has provided so much of the energy in midfield. Hall, by his own admission, not 100% match fit yet. You asked Gary Johnson before kick-off whether you thought he got 90 minutes in him, and I don't think Gary knows either. So no, it's a big question mark, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course it's unfortunate.
And it's a loss. It's a loss. Lapsley's a loss for the Gulls.
And it's unfortunate, of course, it's a midweek match because he's got less recovery time, and of course Tom it's the same situation for Tom as well.
Yeah, well, exactly. So we'll see. We don't know exact nature of the injury. We've speculated on it. But if it's in a tender area, then it might take a little bit more to heal over. He's a tough lad, Tom Lapsley, so he'll be very disappointed to miss this match, especially being a local derby. Great atmosphere, 850 Gulls fans here, an away sellout. Terrific, isn't it? And as you said, they're coming one after the other, these local games. We knew they would when we saw the line-up for this division at the start of the season. It was practically a West Country benefit, wasn't it? But we'll see. There's a long way to go yet.
Yeah, although it is strange because they haven't really played any of their West Country rivals so far, so all of a sudden they're all coming in this great big stream because there's Weymouth in there as well, isn't it, we haven't talked about?
No, true, absolutely. And of course tonight you look at the fixtures. Truro City are the odd ones out because they're not playing. You've got Weston-Super-Mare against Torquay, Bath against Taunton, and Yeovil against Weymouth. Where do you go if you're a neutral West Country fan?
Well, let's hope you're here because, as I say, we have got. I mean, that's 850 fans here. I don't know how many Western will have, but it's probably going to be almost even Stevens, isn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, they're packed in here. We're in the. Not in the Torquay end, but in the Torquay half of the little grandstand here at, I can't stop calling it the Woodspring Stadium. I think it's called the Optima now, isn't it?
Yes,
or something like that.
Officially it is.
And you can't move down this end. So great turnout, and of course they were desperate for that result last Saturday after back-to-back defeats to Maidstone. They got it against Welling. Not very clever for 20 minutes, I must say, at Plainmoor on Saturday, but they ran out comfortable winners in the end.
And the worry must be that Yeovil are starting to flex their muscles a little bit. They're starting to just open a little bit of the gap at the top of the table. Torquay need to watch that, don't they?
Absolutely. I think they're 3 points ahead at the moment, 4 ahead of Torquay. No, United have got to stay on their heels to make that home game against Yeovil on November the 7th, I think it is, at Plainmoor. I think Yeovil have already sold out 1,500 tickets for that. You're looking at possibly a 4,000 plus gate for that match, at least. But if United go into that, to make that the best it can be, United have got to be right on their tails, haven't they?
They have. Well, the two teams, as you probably have guessed from the noise around us, have just come out onto the pitch. Weston-Super-Mare, who are known as the Seagulls, of course, in their all-white kit. And the Gulls are in their change kit. I must admit, I quite like this change kit, by the way. It's a good shade, isn't it?
It's growing on us.
Yeah.
I think when the club first brought it out and published it, everybody thought, what? But it is growing on us. It's a bit different. It's sort of a bit Oxford and Cambridge-ish, isn't it? Dark blue, light blue, and white stripes. But it's okay. It's okay. What a fascinating matchup of teams, and players who used to play for each other it is tonight. I think we've got, 5 on the Western team with Torquay connections, including 18-year-old Harry Lee in goal, who's born and bred in Torquay and has been a Gulls fan all his life and is now playing against his hometown club. Opie Edwards, who obviously used to play for Torquay. Reuben Reid, Luke Pearce was on loan quite recently.
Forever remembered as a sofa legend for Manchester United in England. Famously a survivor of the Broken Games, Chelsea survivor of the Munich disaster in 1958, before going on to score 249 goals for the club, amassing 3 First Division titles, an FA Cup and a European Cup, with a measure of an exceptional man. It wasn't just his domestic side though, he scored appeared 106 times for the Free Lions, scoring 49 goals. His crowning glory was undoubtedly helping England to the famous 1966 World Cup. As a mark of respect, we will be conducting a minute silence that will start and end on the referee's whistle. Thank you.
Silence there for the great Bobby Charlton, and if you any allusions as to just how wet it is here at Weston this evening, you could probably hear the rain falling on the stand roof just above us. The Torquay United players just doing their final warm-ups, and we will be underway very shortly here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. So Asa Hall back and will captain the side this evening. If you missed it earlier, Mark Halstead starts in goal. Asa Hall, Aaron Jarvis, Lewis Collins, Brad Ash, Brad McGavin, Finlay Krask, Sean Donlan, Dean Moxey, Ollie Tomlinson and Jack Stobbs are the starting 11 for the Gulls. Weston-Super-Mare, they number 1 to 11, with one exception, which almost inevitably had to be Reuben Reid, insisting on wearing a number 19 shirt. But otherwise, Harry Lee wears number 1, Kieran Thomas 2, Jordan Bastin 3, Jacob Jagger Kane is wearing 4, Lloyd Humphreys 5, Jason Pope 6, Rory Wilmot, the unknown name, is in 7, James Dodd 8, James Morton 10, and Opie Edwards, former Torquay United loanee, of course, wears 11. Was he actually on the Gulls' books? Did the Gulls sign him as in their own right at one point,
Opie Edwards? Yeah. Yes, he came back the second time, yeah. He was on loan to start with from Bristol City.
Yep.
And was that's my memory of it. He was a free agent the second time.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. Well, slightly late, but we are underway here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. And it's Torquay United who will be attacking the home end in this first half. And they have possession as well, shooting chance, which is charged down on the edge of the area. The ball ricochets out towards the left-hand side, and then it's picked up by the home side, but only momentarily. Here's Moxey, sprays a diagonal ball out towards the left-hand side. We're a little bit telegraphed that. Now Torquay United have some defensive work to do as the home side come quickly over the halfway line down this left-hand side in the form of Bastin, one of those 3 changes. Asa Hall gets back and forces the ball out of play for a throw-in, just about level with the Torquay United penalty area down the left-hand side. And always an interesting viewing point here, Dave, because we are pretty much head height to the players, aren't we, really?
Yes, not much perspective, but there we are.
Well, we're going to need our first new ball of the evening. Bastin will take the throw-in down the left-hand side, just looking for a little bit of movement ahead of him. In the end, he gives it in and gets it back from Dodd, and then tries to nip the cross in to the edge of the Torquay United penalty area, and then the ball out towards the left-hand side, and Torquay United can look to build up. That's a clever ball inside. Now the ball forward from McGavin straight down the middle, but doesn't manage to find its intended target. It's broken up by Weston, who come forward again inside the centre circle. And Wilmot had it momentarily, gives it to Dodd. Fairly deep from the home side at the moment. Torquay United just getting everybody behind the ball at the moment as the early stage of this, and that Western move has broken up. Torquay United can't get clean possession. It's back with the home side again on the halfway line. Just a little bit bitty in the early stages of this one as the ball's lifted forward. That one's should have been an easy one for Moxie, but he's lost possession on the edge of the area. Comes biting back to the challenge, has managed to get it. And there's a dramatic fall on the edge of the penalty area, which was clearly seen by the referee, Sam Reed. Didn't give anything. Dave?
Rare mistake by Dean Moxie, dwelt on the ball then and was closed down quicker than he expected, lost it to Dodds. In the end, Weston-Super-Mare couldn't make anything of it, but not quite like Dino, is it?
No, exemplary reaction from him though. Knew that he had to get back and try and win the ball back immediately. Here's Ruben Reid, it might just drop for Reid inside the box as well. Dean Moxie gets back there. Two players with a combined age of, well into their 60s, I would think, as the ball is hoofed out of play by the Gulls down this left-hand side as Weston look at it, and they have a throw-in. Here is Baston. He slips, and Asa Hall didn't really take advantage of that. I don't think he realised that, or anticipated the slip there by Baston. Baston was out of the play, and Hall's only put it out again for another throw. Baston pushes it down this left-hand side now for Wilmot. Wilmot does really well to get around Donlan, and needs to be careful now. He's into the penalty area, and the low cross is powerless, really, and easily fallen on by Mark Halstead in his bright orange kit. Ruben Reid stands in front of him and then thinks better of it, moves away from it. One of those rare players who's played for all three of our leading Devon sides, of course, Ruben, and Yeovil.
Absolutely. Wilmot beat Sean Donnellan rather easily there and didn't make enough of the chance to cross the ball. It was a fairly easy one for Halstead in the end.
There goes another of those long diagonals, but for the second time this evening it's been cut out by Bastin. There is Wilmot. Gives it to Dodd, who's looking to pull the strings in that midfield area. He helps it on one now to Jagger Kane, and then the ball goes down the right-hand side. It's coming together, and the referee will pull that one back for a free kick against Torquay United, midway inside the Gulls' half of the pitch, down the right-hand side. No early goals in this one. Torquay United with some defensive work to do. Wilmot goes across there just to... There's going to be no disguise about this free kick. I think it's going to be Wilmot, and I think it's going to be lifted in. A couple of players up from the back as well. Lloyd Humphries has come forward. Ruben Reid, of course, is looking interested, and Kieran Thomas, the right back, is also on the edge of the Torquay penalty area. The ball's lifted in. They get the header at the near post. It's not a clean header, and it's wide of that left-hand post. And Torquay United survive, but it's not been a brilliant start by the Gulls.
Correct. James Dodd got his head to that one, and he's not the biggest player in the world. That free kick from Wilmot on the right. I remember watching Robbie Wilmot play for Cambridge United in the 2009 playoff final, which the Gulls won at Wembley, of course, against Cambridge. My goodness, that seemed like a long time ago. It probably does to him as well.
Very possibly. Last time a Devon side actually won a playoff final, by the way. All forward. Here's Ruben Reid. Nice first touch from him, and he goes sprinting down this left-hand side, being marshalled by a much younger Tomlinson. Manages to hold on to possession though, Reid, and then it's picked up by Wilmot. He gives it inside to Bastin. Bastin moving inside now, rolls it across to the right-hand side, and Thomas helps it on another one to Edwards down that right-hand side. Edwards gets to the byline, pulls it back, and Torquay United then managed to come away with possession. Takes a while for it to actually properly be cleared away. At the moment, it's Weston rather camped in the Torquay United half, and we're going to have a very similar free kick to the one we saw 2 minutes ago, almost identical position. It was a clever little move there as well with the last one. A couple of players peeled off to the back post. Ball was actually curled in towards the near, so Torquay's had a chance to have a look at this one, unless of course Weston vary this, but there's the same personnel lining up in the same position, just on the D on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. Once away, again Humphreys peels away. That one's meat and drink for House, who dropped it. Unfortunately managed to fall on it, but well, we saw
heart in mouth moment.
Well, we saw the most bizarre of goals against Maidstone, didn't we? And we had echoes of that momentarily, but fortunately for House, there was nobody around him to profit from that one. Now, can Torquay get a bit of possession in the western half of the pitch? They can. As Moxie takes it over the halfway line, helps it on one.
Just need to get a bit of a grip of it, Alan, don't they, at the moment?
Yeah, there's not much happening, and
they're giving it away again.
Yeah, I mean, they've had two or well, Weston have given it away themselves now, and they do have to go back to the goalkeeper, Harry Lee, who clears away straight onto a Torquay head, and it'll be picked up by the home side once more. Jagger Kane helps on down that right-hand side, and the ball over the top, looking for the run here of Dodds. And that was good defensive play, just nodding it behind, but it's not really sticking up front, is it? When they go for those ambitious through balls, they've been cut off every time so far.
Well, Weston-Super-Mare have got one of the best target men that West Country football has seen for many a year, Reuben Reid. In his prime, he took two centre-backs out of the game, and he's playing on his own up front and loves that role, a bit like René Howe used to play for Torquay. He's more than happy, he's built for the job, got the touch, got the skill and the know-how, and he's doing that much better than the United strikers, Brad Ash and Aaron Jarvis are at the moment. Mind you, they haven't had an awful lot of ammo, have they, yet?
No, we had one sortie into the western half in the first 30 seconds or so, and that was about it, I think, really. Free kick here to be taken by Mark Houston. It's still goalless here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. 8.5 minutes on the clock. It's only got plenty of distance on that. Rain coming down, but it's coming down straight. There's not too much wind inside the stadium. As the Torquay man goes to the ground, looks appealingly towards the referee, who quite rightly isn't interested. There's Reuben Reid just linking up the play again, now coming forward, plays the ball out towards this left-hand side. Stobbs coming back to try and marshal Wilmot. Not too much behind Stobbs. Wilmot, though, rolls it short. Now the cross comes in towards the back post, and Reuben Reid went for it, but didn't manage to make any connection. And it's going to go harmlessly out of play for a throw in down by that left-hand corner flag for Torquay United, who've, well, started sluggishly, you would say.
Yes, definitely. Scott Bartlett will definitely, the Western manager will definitely be the happier of the two so far. United haven't really got into it in an attacking fashion, and they've just looked, there's a couple of early mistakes by Moxie, and Halstead dropping that free kick, did gather it at the second attempt. Just will be, you know, a little encouragement to Western.
Wilmot with a shooting chance on the edge of the area, goes for it. It's only just wide of that left-hand post. Mark Halstead certainly went sprawling across there. Wasn't a bad effort, wasn't closed down either. But the shot is wide of Halstead's goal, and it remains goalless after 10 minutes on BBC Radio Devon Sport. And Torquay United will take this goal kick short. Moxie just rolls it across the back line. And gets it out further down that left-hand side. There's Moxie again. Gives it to Tomlinson. Gives it on to Donland in the right-back position. Tomlinson again, and Torquay just enjoying a little bit of keep ball, but very deep, and then Tomlinson goes for one of those long passes forward, trying to pick out the run of Brad Ash, but that was ambitious, and it goes all the way through to the goalkeeper, Harry Lee, 18-year-old, highly thought of at St James Park. But as you were mentioning, certainly used to be a season ticket holder at Plainmoor, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. Huge United fan.
That's a nice turn there by Morton. And Weston are coming forward again. Only the one home win for them so far this season, and that was very early in the season as well, as the ball sprayed out towards this left-hand side. Ball nodded away by Donlan from the edge of his penalty area. It'll drop to Baston, who plays inside here for Reid. Reid looking for a little bit of support. Gives it back. Now the ball is with Morton once more. Morton to Baston on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. And then the ambitious ball prodded inside doesn't really work, and Torquay United will clear it up towards the halfway line, where it's met by Pope. Pope will play it across the back line to Humphreys, and then Humphreys will drill one rather aimlessly out towards the left-hand side. No chance of Edwards getting on the end of that one, and it's going to be a throw-in down the left-hand side for Torquay United, midway inside their own half of the pitch. Weston 0, Torquay United 0. Well, it's not quite a storm, but I suppose it's probably a case of weathering what Weston have got in the early stages here, and then trying to work their way into the game, I guess, Dave. But
yeah, I think the majority of the 850-odd goals fans here would have expected and hoped for a little bit more positive start in an attacking sense from the goals, but it may be a question of doing what you've just said, soaking it up, and then hitting them. But we'll see. Nothing much has stuck for United so far. They've spent most of their time in defence.
Yeah, Aaron Jarvis there pulled up for a foul on Humphreys. Hall picks up possession for Torquay. Here he is again, just helps around the corner. And now Torquay can perhaps come forward down that left-hand side, but strong challenge coming in. It might just run very kindly here for Ruben Reid. That was an important little header coming in from Tomlinson. Here's Wilmot on the edge of the area again. Wilmot helps it on. There's the shot coming in, a good sliding challenge coming in to stop that one threatening the goal from Donlan, and then the ball curled into the penalty area. Doesn't manage to beat the first man, and cleared away by the Gulls again, but none too cleanly. Weston have it again, low cross coming in this time, dealt with again at the near post by the Gulls, but they are under the cosh here in the early stages.
A little bit hesitant about whether to go for 50-50s, aren't they? There was a chance to go and intercept that ball, and Weston were much more proactive on it and got across. United survived it, and it's now a throw to Weston.
Quickly taken. Weston starting to ping the ball around with increasing confidence here. Baston helped on down that right-hand side. Still have it the hosts on the edge of the Torquay penalty area. Ruben Reid. Good link-up play from him, and then the ambitious ball down the middle is too strong, and that one goes all the way through to Mark Halstead.
I think it's easy to forget that despite the fact that United won 5-1 on Saturday, for 15 or 20 minutes they really were pretty poor, and I think Gary Johnson has told them that, and Welling took the lead at Plainmoor, and it took a penalty, a pretty fortunate penalty, a moment from their goalkeeper to get United back into the game. They won comfortably enough in the end, but it wasn't great for 15-20 minutes, and it isn't here at Weston.
Thrown down this right-hand side then to be taken by Sean Donlan on the halfway line. Not too much movement around for him really, but eventually he gets the ball away. That's a good little flick on this time by Jarvis. Might just drop on the edge of the penalty area here for Torquay, and just for a moment Weston were nervous about clearing their lines there, but Humphreys did manage to force it out towards the left-hand side, and Torquay United will have the throw-in.
One thing about, which is very unusual for a Gary Johnson team, there isn't an awful lot of pace in this United attack. Certainly in midfield, and they can play on the ball, there's no doubt about that, but when you want them to really press opponents and chase lost causes, all that sort of stuff, which of course you get quite a lot of in lower division football, United are not the quickest.
Ball back to Halstead. Not in any great hurry to clear this one. Torquay probably just happy to hold on to possession anywhere they can at the moment. Eventually he launches it straight down the middle of the ground, and then it runs kindly and almost straight into the path of Torquay as the rain starts to teem down inside the ground. It's been raining persistently ever since we kicked off, but it's absolutely teeming down at the moment. Here's Ruben Reid with a shooting chance on the edge of the area, dummies to hit it, and then goes down the right-hand side, then does hit it into the back of the net. It's a great finish from Ruben Reid. Rolling back the years there, Reid. Dummy to shoot first time and then sprinted down the right-hand side from a pretty acute angle, has drilled the ball into the roof of the net, and Weston take the lead. Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 0.
Well, it's been coming, hasn't it, Alan? And Reid has looked in a different class to anybody up front in the first 15-20 minutes of this match. He received the ball up the centre of the pitch, held off a defender, slipped it out to Opie Edwards on the right-hand side. Edwards got beyond his man, pulled the low cross back. Reid was there. He looked up. He had defenders between him and the goal, but he's burst between two defenders. We did mention that lack of pace, didn't we, in the United side. He's burst between two defenders, and then on the right-hand side of goal, he's hit a right foot shot, and it's gone in off the near post past Mark Halstead, who actually had very little chance. A very good goal.
Well, Torquay went route one straight from the restart, and that one's ended up out of play, so it's going to be a goal kick, but that goal had certainly been coming. And a lack of pace. I mean, he's got many attributes, hasn't he, Ruben Reid, but actually pace probably isn't one of them.
It wasn't. It was just his awareness of the situation and his strength. He just brushed it. He just between two defenders. I mean, I don't know exactly which two. I mean, the two central defenders on that side are Tomlinson and Moxey, but whether it was those two he went between, I wouldn't like to say for definite, but. He went past two defenders as if they weren't there, and as you mentioned, Alan, he's not that quick.
Ball nodded out of play for a throw-in for Weston, who were top of the league right at the start of the season, but they've really fallen away since then. Just one home win for them all season. They've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 6 of their last 9 matches as well. So you'd have thought this would be a good time to catch them, but so far it's not proving that way. Ball swept out towards the left-hand side, then a strange one from Wilmot. Puts it behind Baston, has to actually sprint back to tidy up his own mistake there, and eventually the ball goes back to the goalkeeper Lee, who clears out of play for a throw-in down this right-hand side for Torquay United. So will that serve as the wake-up call that Torquay need? Here is Tomlinson, gives it inside to McGavin. McGavin helps it on to Moxey. Moxey moves towards the halfway line, then checks back inside, gives it to Tomlinson again. Tomlinson rolls it back to Moxey once more, then Moxey just prods it fairly short, and then Torquay United going through the line, trying to get it up towards the edge of the penalty area, and that's where the move breaks down and runs kindly through to Lee, who's been completely untroubled here in the early stages. That's a very poor ball coming in from McGavin, picked off by Baston. He gives it out to Wilmot. Wilmot then rolls it inside and gets possession again. Here is the goal scorer, Reid. Well marshalled on this occasion by Tomlinson. Baston. And back to Morton. He comes inside McGavin. Gives it to Ruben Reid. Reid helps it on to Wilmot. That's a good sliding challenge coming in from Sean Donnellan. And that's almost the first time that Torquay United fans have anything at all to cheer about. Now they're pleading for a foul there on Aaron Jarvis on the halfway line, but the referee waves that one away, and it goes back to Lee, who clears out towards that right-hand side, and Thomas. And now Wilmot in acres of space down the Torquay United right-hand side into the penalty area. Poor ball across there by Wilmot. He was desperately disappointed with that one. That was a real opportunity there, and Torquay got a little bit lucky there, but completely carved open down this right-hand side.
Well, it was a nice third-man running move to get Wilmot away down the left-hand side. He's got 7 on his back, but he's playing on the left. Opie Edwards with 11 is playing down the right-hand side. And Weston, who are playing with far more urgency and intent than United, are causing all sorts of problems at the moment.
Nice first touch there from Jarvis. Ball then rolled into the path of Stobbs. Stobbs dummies across, goes inside his man, and Torquay United will have a free kick in a dangerous position down the right-hand side.
We're not in a great position to see that. I think the Western defenders thought that was a fairly cheap free kick, but United have it, and Stobbs is their free kick man, and he will take it from wide on their right-hand side.
Well, the assistant flagged straight away, and the referee wasted no time in giving it. So just tried to go inside the defender. So it is a free kick in a dangerous position, just in advance on the edge of the penalty area, down the right-hand side. Going to be a two-man wall formed here by Weston. It'll be a case of whether one of the big men can get on it at the end, at the back post, you would imagine. Stobbs waits. Referee just makes sure that two-man wall is in the correct position. Weston defending the home end in this first half. Here comes Stobbs towards the back post. It's a difficult one for Lee, who just got a hand up and helped it over the top of his crossbar, and behind he goes for a corner kick.
Difficult to tell whether that was on target or not, but Lee wasn't taking any chances. Stobbs goes from all the way from right to left to take this corner now from the left, an in-swinger.
Well, at the moment, you feel that these dead ball situations maybe Torquay's best chance. It's swept in, and the referee has spotted some pushing, I think it is. It's going to be a free kick here.
What a waste of a chance for the Gulls.
Weston.
They've hardly had any attacking play to speak of in the first 20-22 minutes, and then when they get a chance to deliver a really good free kick, they get pulled up for a spot of pushing and shoving. There we go.
Free kick to be taken then by Harry Lee. Next to City Loney. Clears down the right-hand side as the home side look at it. Torquay all swept forward down this right-hand side, looking for the run of Stobbs. We'll catch up with it somewhere near the corner flag, but heading towards that corner flag. Ball played inside. Donlan out towards the right-hand side again. Neat 1-2 involving Collins. Ball falls to Donlan. Does well with his initial dummy and then got the ball stuck under his feet. Gavin helps on towards the left-hand side. A little bit inaccurate though, and Dean Moxey has to go across to pick up possession. Need to be careful here, the Gulls. There's not too much behind them as they build up just inside the western half of the pitch. Now the cross comes in towards the near post, and that one is steered out of play. Probably, I think, for a throw, but a little bit better from the Gulls, a little bit of signs of life now.
Absolutely. Long overdue. Jarvis couldn't quite get a run across his defender to get on the end of that Stobbs cross, but a little bit more like it.
It is a throw-in. And the ball looking for Stobbs inside the penalty area is overhit, and it'll be swept away by the home side. Torquay United will pick up possession again, though, just inside their own half of the pitch. Ball helped on towards the left-hand side. Back it goes to Moxey. Moxey just rolls it into the path of Tomlinson. And Tomlinson gives it to Collins. Helps onto this right-hand side, and Donlan just drifts in from his right wing-back duties momentarily to give it to Tomlinson. Across to Moxey. And Moxey helps on to Krask and then back again. Here's Tomlinson again, who will take it over the halfway line, but the home side just happy to get banks of white shirts behind the ball when Torquay have it and then hit them on the break, and that's precisely what they're looking to do on this occasion, but didn't stick with Ruben Reid on this occasion. There's a good challenge coming in on him from Collins, and Torquay have possession again in the form of McGavin inside the centre circle. Just stabs it short to the captain, Asa Hall. Asa Hall helps it on to Donlan, then Donlan gives it back to Tomlinson. Tomlinson drifts over the halfway line and then gives it to Asa Hall, but there's not too many darts or movements ahead of him, really.
The moment they play it forward, they lose it. That's it's all very well having lots and lots of touches at the back and in midfield, but if you don't do anything with it the moment you go forward, then you're going to be in for a long night.
Well, ball swept away there by Weston. Out for a Torquay United throw, and the pattern of the match looking to be set a little bit now. Weston certainly dominated the first 20 minutes, good value for their lead, but maybe from their point of view they might be a little bit guilty at the moment of sitting on their lead a little bit. We've certainly seen plenty more possession from Torquay, although, as Dave was saying, it's not really in areas which is going to hurt the home side. Here come the Gulls again, but it's a betwixt and between sort of ball which didn't really find anybody. 26 minutes played here on BBC Radio. Devon Sport and Weston-Super-Mare lead Torquay United by 1-0. And they have it again down the Torquay left-hand side. Ball out of play, thrown for the visitors.
Yeah, how much quicker Weston took that throw than anything Torquay have tried in the last 15-20 minutes. Weston very keen to get on with it as quickly as they can.
Houston clears away. Jarvis can't get anything on the loose ball though, and now the home side looking to burst forward, and that could have been a dangerous ball into the path of Ruben Reid, but it was just part stopped by Tomlinson. Now Wilmot has it on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Reid. Well played Asa Hall though, coming back in the nick of time. That's the experience that he brings to the side, of course, the way he reads the ball, but Aaron Jarvis is on his heels and ball's taken away from him, but Torquay United pick up possession, and now maybe they can stream forward. There's a lot of Western players trying to get back quickly here. But in the end, McGavin took his time, but he has managed to pick the pass. Stops is free down the right-hand side, gets the byline. Low cross in, deflected behind for a corner. Good break by Torquay, but it should have been a lot better, the final ball.
Telling me, Alan. Finally got a really good counter-attack break down the right-hand side. McGavin, Ash was almost bundled off the ball, but Stobbs was making the run in behind him. He had to deliver that cross earlier. The longer he delayed it, the more chance that Weston had of getting back to block it, and that's what they did.
Corner then for Torquay. Last one, of course, was pulled up for pushing. Torquay need to be careful here. Over it comes. It's onto a Western head, though. It's just too high for Asa Hall. Back goes to Stobbs, drills it in again, and that's a good defensive header coming in to force that one out of play. As I say, we are almost pitch level in some way, shy of the halfway line. All this action taking place on the far end of the pitch, so it's difficult to say whether it's gone out for a corner or a throw-in. But either way, it's certainly in the Gulls' favour, and the way the players are lining up in the penalty area, it certainly appears to be a corner. It is. Over it comes, all the way across. Could drop for somebody in a blue shirt, maybe. Doesn't. Back to Moxie on the edge of the area. Moxie drills it over the top of the crossbar. Well, he certainly hit it cleanly enough. Well, that one was always rising.
Well, it's taken nearly half an hour, but at least United are starting to show a little bit of urgency. Not enough up to then. Moxie, as you say, got a sight of it, was being closed down. Clean strike, a couple of foot over the bar. Yeah. Still 1-0 to Weston.
It's one of those difficult ones, isn't it, from Dean Moxie's point of view, because there was a lot of players to try and drill the ball through. They just put too much on it. Ball with Wilmot on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. He's got runners ahead of him as well. Went for the shot, and that was charged down. Not the right option, I suspect, by the former Exeter City man, but Weston pick it up again midway inside the Torquay United half of the pitch. They go quickly down the right-hand side. Low cross in, and that wasn't too far away from being an own goal there. And the referee has given it as a corner.
Whenever Weston go at United with any pace, especially down the flanks, they look as if they're capable of opening them up. We all know Opie Edwards is pretty quick with the following wind.
Corner then for the hosts. Over it comes. Nodded away well by Torquay on this occasion. But it's going to be whipped in once more from the edge of the penalty area. That one doesn't travel too far. Good battling play and coming together, and Torquay United will have a free kick. But you've got 850 travelling Gulls fans, and we're sitting right in the middle of them, really, and it's quiet as it is around the ground. It does tell you the story of the game, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And in amongst the peace and quiet, one or two unhappy voices as well, and you can't blame them. This is a game that the sort of game United must win, but I can remember coming here 5 years ago. They didn't win that night, and they didn't win at home to Weston either.
No.
On their way to the title that year.
Tomlinson doing well, and the ball is forced out of play. Just moving slightly gingerly away from there. Trying to be taken by Bastin. Little foul coming in from Asa Hall. I think Morton was just too quick-footed for him, really. Just whipped it away from him. And it will be a free kick close to the halfway line for the home side to be taken by Wilmot. Gives it short to Bastin. Bastin takes a touch, then gives it back to Morton once more. And Morton helps it on to Jagger Kane. Good ball forward, looking for Ruben Reid. That's an important challenge won by Donald. And now Torquay United can break quickly over the halfway line. That's a great ball through the middle as well. Great chance here. And a wonderful, well, I think it was a great challenge coming in, or whether it's just completely got stuck under his feet there, but it was a brilliant ball forward. And, well, it all came to naught one way or another. We'll come back to that in a moment, but Weston building again, but
not the sort of finish that Bradley Ash would have wanted to produce against his old club.
Was it a challenge, or was it just he lost his
I think
footing?
it was 6 of one and half under the other, Alan. I think the touch he had allowed the defender to get to him. He should have got a shot away there, shouldn't he?
Yes, absolutely. Well, he should have scored. You know, he won't get a much better chance than that. He was running through on goal, and the defenders were in his wake, and he's got the speed to get away from them. But somehow or other, the challenge came in, and it was all very messy after that.
Nellan did very well in midfield to rob a man and drive in there, and it was his through ball to Ash, and he should have made a lot more than that, more of it than that.
Here at Torquay again, poor first touch though really from Asa Hall, and now Edwards can take the ball quickly over the halfway line. He's forced to check back inside as Crass stops that run. And he goes back to one of his defenders, central defenders. Rolls it out to Bastin, and then Bastin helps on to Wilmot. And Wilmot on one more to Morton. Tries to play it round the corner. That's a good challenge coming. And the ball is cleared away out of play for a throw-in down the left-hand side for Weston-Super-Mare, who still lead Torquay United by 1-0 here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. We'll have half-time reports from here and also from Derby County coming up for you at the break, and we'll also be looking ahead to tomorrow night's match, Plymouth Argyle against Sheffield Wednesday. Full commentary on that one coming up for you on BBC Radio Devon Sport from 7 o'clock tomorrow. Here's Bastin breaking towards the edge of the penalty, and nobody coming to meet him. Still there, Bastin, who lashes his shot, and that was eventually deflected wide by Donald. But my goodness, he was going to have to carry that forever, it seemed to me.
Well, the first goal that Welling scored at Plainmoor last Saturday was another example of somebody just running straight unopposed through United's midfield and getting a shot away and scoring. Bastin did the same thing then. It's becoming a bit of a regular feature. United's midfield not the most robust by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the short corner routine was, or the ball in was rather wasted. Poor first touch by Opie Edwards, trying to knock it back to the corner taker, and that didn't work. Scores elsewhere in the National League South, by the way. Farnborough 1, Tunbridge Angels 0, Hemel Hempstead 0, Braintree 1, St Albans 2, Slough 0, and Yeovil have the lead by 1-0 at home to Weymouth. Offside flag coming here. Caused a little bit of disquiet amongst the Torquay fans. How anybody could have a view from this angle, I would amaze me really, but they felt they'd gone soon.
Well, you don't like to go down this road too often, but you would never know which side was full-time and which side was part-time in the moment, would you?
No.
I know sometimes that doesn't reveal itself completely until the second half, but Weston's certainly playing at a much higher tempo, much higher pace.
Yeah, well, Torquay just looks sluggish, haven't they, really? I wonder if they do miss a little bit the just the zip out there of Tom Lapsley. Asa Hall, a very good player to come in his place. As Halstead moves the ball out of play and out of the ground. Lost one in the first 30 seconds. So we're going to be on to our third ball of the match. 1-0.
I think you have to say, don't you, Alan, that Torquay are probably reasonably relieved that they're not more than one down. That's the top and bottom of it.
Well, we do finally have a new ball. And Torquay have conceded. They make a habit almost of conceding corners in this
very soft
corner of the pitch. But there'll be another one, a couple of yards in from the touchline down the right-hand side. So once again, all the big players will come up from the back here, from Weston, and they'll form a line on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. This will be their third go at this. The first one they put just wide, the second one was straight into the arms of Mark Halstead. What will they do this time? It's lifted in deep. Halstead stays at home. It's a great header coming, and Halstead was flapping at his back post, just hoping that header would go wide, which it did.
Kieran Thomas, I think it was, wasn't it?
It may well have been.
Yeah, Kieran Thomas is up from the back, the right back header, glancing.
Yep.
Halstead did not have that covered.
He wouldn't have got there if it had been in the corner. He wouldn't have got there. Goal kick is taken. Flicked on. Harry Lee comes out of his penalty area, and he's a little bit lucky there. Almost a rugby incident there. His attempted clearance was charged down. Unfortunately for him, there was enough on it that it goes behind for a goal kick then for Weston, who still lead Torquay United by 1-0. To be taken by Harry Lee.
8 minutes to go or so till half-time, and can United rouse themselves to get an equaliser before the break?
Well, they had a good spell, didn't they, for 5 or 10 minutes, but that seems to have blown itself out, really. Little header on. Asa Hall goes up inside the centre circle. Ball does run kindly, and then the stab ball out to his right-hand side. It's behind Stobbs, who's gone ahead, and a lack of communication, a lack of understanding there between the two Gulls players.
Brett McGavin's first touch simply wasn't good enough, and that meant that he had to have another touch to get himself set for the pass, and by that time Stobbs had headed off down the right wing, and McGavin hadn't got his head up and spotted that and had knocked it to where Stobbs was rather than where he used to be, rather than where he was.
Gulls have possession in the form of Moxie. He gives it to Jarvis, who comes short, and Jarvis now in midfield role at the moment, just spraying the ball out to the right-hand side, and Donlan, who goes quickly forward, then whips the cross in, but Jarvis hadn't arrived as of yet. Ball out as far as McGavin, almost inside the centre circle, dummy to shoot, and then gives it back to Moxie. Tomlinson helps onto this right-hand side, and Donlan lifts it to the corner on the edge of the penalty area, and then there's a foul coming in from Jarvis. You can hear what some of the Torquay fans thought about that one.
Clumsy challenge by Jarvis then. He must also have been pretty close to being offside as well, but United simply have not clicked.
Ruben Reid wins his header, then just puts the ball behind Robbie Wilmot. Area throw in for...
You look at Morton, Dodds, Wilmot in midfield for them, for Weston, and they're all quicker and sharper and more urgent than anybody in United's midfield at the moment. Both in short spaces on and off the ball, and in tracking back.
Here's Tomlinson. Gives it out to Moxie. Couldn't have a better mentor around him, of course, than Dean Moxie, who flights that ball down that left-hand side. Two players go up for an aerial challenge, and the Torquay man has stayed down.
I think that's Asa Hall, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it might be Asa Hall as well. I think he's probably going to be okay, but the referee's just stopped it, as he's bound to do for head injuries. Just to confirm, by the way, Derby County lead Exeter City by 1-0 at Pride Park. Commentary on that one continues on 95.8 FM in Exeter and East Devon, 103.4 FM.
Actually, it was Lewis Collins that took that knock, but he's up on his feet and he's okay. He struggled to get into the game tonight, hasn't he?
You could almost say that of virtually the whole Torquay team, really. It's just not sticky up front at all.
You look at the contrast there between the ball knocked up to Jarvis and not sticking, and the ball knocked up to Ruben Reid.
Famous ball forward from Bastin on this occasion. And straight to Tomlinson, who plays a 1-2 with Donlan. But Torquay United, okay, in possession. but they're deep inside their own half of the pitch as they roll it across the back line and wander towards the halfway line. And then a half-hearted press comes in from the team in white. Torquay still have possession.
Yes, Western not really pushing right up, are they? They're allowing United to have the ball and pass it across their back four, and you can understand Western being fairly happy with that. It's still deep in United's half.
Tomlinson goes for a long raking ball, but that's straight onto the head of Bastin. Takes a hold, trying to get to a loose ball on the edge of the penalty area, but didn't manage to do so, and it's tidied up back to Lee, who
and when the
clears away. Once he gets a head of steam up, he's quick enough, isn't he, Ruben Reid? And he's gone inside. Tomlinson shooting chance, beats him a second time, then fires the shot left-footed. He is two-footed, Ruben Reid. It's not out of play from the save from Houston. Ball towards the back post. Still there or thereabouts. Western want a penalty. I think that's ambitious. Referee not interested. Cleared away by the Gulls, and now the chase could be on down the other end, but Humphreys looks to have a big enough head start. And he goes back to his goalkeeper. Oh, and Lee's made a mistake, and Torquay no, they haven't equalised. Well, that was remarkable there by Lee. He was lucky to get away with an incident like that in the first half, and the second he was dispossessed there, I think, by Ash, who managed to roll the ball towards the goal line from a prone position. And the referee's now given a free kick here for Bastin down the other end, and possibly we might have our first yellow card, but well, it would have been very fortuitous, but Torquay very close to being level there, Dave.
All down to a bit of old-fashioned effort by Brad Ash, wasn't it? He didn't give up. Humphreys looked as if he'd outpaced him and shaken him off. Knocked the back pass to Lee. Lee fluffed the back pass, and Brad Ash hadn't given up on it, and he managed to squirm the ball along the goal line, and I think Lee, it was, just got back and clawed it off the line. Nearly an equaliser.
Yeah, it was very,
against
very
the run of
close.
play.
Oh, entirely against the run of play. I mean, Garrett Johnson I would think he'd bite your hand off for being 1-0 down at half-time, but if they managed to level it there, now they've got defensive work to do, though. This is a dangerous free kick, which Wilmot's lining up. That's almost been a little bit of a wake-up call, maybe for Western. Still got 2 minutes of the 45 to be played, plus whatever's to be added on. As the ball's curled in towards the back post, met by Torquay head, and then stabbed away from the edge of the penalty area as well. Out as far as Bastin once more. He gives it to Wilmot. Wilmot crosses right-footed towards the back edge of the penalty area. It's a little bit aimless, though, and Torquay United can shepherd that one behind. And well, for all their possession, all their territory, Western, they could easily have found themselves going in level at the break. Mistake by Lee, and he was already on the floor, I think, really, wasn't he? Just did as best he could to steer it towards goal. It would have been absolute tapping if he'd still been on his feet there, Brad Ash, but you can't fault him for that. So what can Torquay do now? Jarvis gets the ball out to this right-hand side, stops with the cross in towards the near post, and that one's drilled just wide of that near post. Now starting to just get a little bit of joy down this right flank occasionally, Torquay.
Well, he's their main deliverer, isn't he, of crosses, and if he's on a good night, he'll provide plenty of ammunition, but hasn't managed to so far.
Dylan De Silva still out, injured, by the way. Over comes the corner. It's a dangerous one. Good header away. Picked up by the Gulls again on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Stobbs. Crosses it in. Again nodded away. Shot fired in. That's charged down. Then Crass gives it out to the left-hand side, and Moxie. Torquay deciding not to just put it in the mix. It's helped on again, down to this right-hand side, and Stobbs. Backs to Collins. Collins for the first time crossed towards the near post. That's well read, though, by Harry Lee, who grabs it at the second attempt and then falls on it.
Not the best of crosses, though, was it? From there, you've got to get it over the near post, and Lee had read that, come to the near post, and good handling, and that dealt with the Collins cross. But a little bit of more aggressive, more pacey play by United in the run-up to half-time. Hasn't produced a goal yet, still one down.
All cleared away. A wonderful first touch by Ruben Reid. But Tomlinson reacted well. Western have it again, though. Wilmot, Bastin steaming down this left-hand side in an overlap. Wilmot doesn't really use him. Now the ball comes out to Baston down this left-hand side, faced by Donlan. I think 1-2 takes Donlan out of the mix-up, so an important challenge coming in from Sean Donlan. He had to get that one right. He did get it right inside the penalty area to deny Baston. The ball forced behind for...
I don't know why he's contesting that corner flag decision. It was plainly came off him.
I think that's what footballers do, isn't it, Dave? But we should be into injury time. I haven't seen a board go up. They don't always put the boards up, do they?
We've just had the one booking and a brief spell of treatment, so maybe there'll be a minute, maybe two.
Yeah, maybe the celebrations for Reed's goal. Over comes the corner, too much pushing again. Well, I suppose he's consistent, if nothing else, the referee. And it'll be a free kick for Torquay United.
Mr. Sam Reed from Swindon. Well, United have shown in flashes that they're capable of winning this game, but flashes never won you anything, did it? And they've got to do it more consistently.
I don't remember the game 5 years ago that clearly, but I seem to have in the back of my mind it was a similar pattern last time. They had a poor first half, and I think they were behind the break.
Yeah.
They managed to come back to lead. Ball flicked on, and Torquay just trying to have a final push into the western half of the pitch. Now they're down by the corner flag to Torquay, and now they're going to a free kick. Just about 6 inches or so inside from that corner flag. I think this must be the last action of the first half. As I say, we haven't seen how much time was added on at the end of this first period, but we've already played 2.5 minutes of it. So I think this must surely be Torquay's last chance to try and get level before
What's the referee up to now?
He's probably just trying to make sure they don't do any more pushing and pulling.
I think he was having a chat with a photographer, was he?
Oh, I see. Yes, he was. You might be right. I mean, we've already had 2 dead ball situations in dangerous positions pulled back for fouls. So that must be the important thing from a Torquay United point of view. Over it comes. Lee flaps a little bit, but does manage to get enough to get the ball away. Weston looking to break away. Torquay come up with a loose ball. Players allowed to continue. Torquay wants a free kick. Not going to get it. And Weston are breaking forward. Here's Edwards. Failing to challenge coming in, though, by Lewis Collins, who got back there in the nick of time. He forces out of play. And there goes the half-time whistle. And the boos you can hear from the Torquay United fans. And I don't think Gary Johnson really can have too many complaints. It's been a disappointing first half.
Telling me, Alan, telling me. I think were it not for the fact that United roused themselves and showed a little bit more intent in the run-up to half-time, I think the reception from their fans would have been even harsher. A few boos and a bit quiet, and you can hardly blame them. That's not what these fans came here to see. And United haven't really got out of third gear, well, maybe not even second up to now. So yeah, plenty for Gary Johnson to say at half-time, and knowing him, he'll be saying it.
Yes, he may already have started, you'd imagine, and he may need to as well. Goal of quality. Ruben Reed with the finish, just rolling back the years, but Torquay looked like they had to weather that storm for the first 20 minutes, didn't manage to do so.
No, exactly. I've been watching Ruben Reed and young Ollie Tomlinson. Reed is nailing up against Tomlinson tonight, and Ollie Tomlinson will learn an awful lot from this 90 minutes. I can remember Torquay played at Harrogate a few years ago, and young Joe Lewis played against John Stead, the ex-Bristol City and Blackburn Rovers Huddersfield centre forward, and Joe Lewis has gone on to obviously a very good career. He's now in Wimbledon's first team, and he learnt more that afternoon against Stead than in many another day. And Tomlinson is in the same boat against Reed tonight. Ruben Reed is bringing all his know-how, his physical strength, his touch, and Reed just can't get through him.
Half-time here then at Woodfield Stadium, and it is Weston 1, Torquay 0.
If you know your Super Mario from your Sonic, you'll love the Golden Hour.
Don't just stand there, let's get to it. Strike a pose, there's nothing to it.
The Golden Hour.
Monday to Saturday at 1.
BBC Radio Devon.
Welcome along to BBC Radio Devon Sport Half-Time here. And the goals have gone in, haven't they? But they haven't gone in the places we probably wanted them to go in.
BBC Radio Devon Sport with Caroline Densley.
Yeah, in League One, it's Derby County 1, Exeter City 0.
Sibley immediately turns and looks to spread it out towards the left, where Forsyth will cushion the ball down for Bird. Bird in towards Mendes-Lang. Oh, it's the opening goal. And you have to say it's beautifully worked by Derby County. They caught Exeter City cold, and Nathaniel Mendes-Lang on the half hour scores for Derby. Derby 1, Exeter City 0.
And in National League South, it's Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 0.
Here's Ruben Reid with a shooting chance on the edge of the area. Dummies to hit it and then goes down the right-hand side, then does hit it into the back of the net. It's a great finish from Ruben Reid. Rolling back the years there, Reid. Dummy to shoot first time and then sprinted down the right-hand side and from a pretty acute angle has drilled the ball into the roof of the net, and Weston take the lead. Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 0.
Well, let's head back to Pride Park then and speak to Anthony Waring, our commentator, and Alan Tong, who's summarising that first half then. I mean, I don't want to, be the bearer of bad news, but it doesn't look great at the moment, does it? We can't surely have 6 games without a win for Exeter City, can we, Alan?
Well, it's heading that way, isn't it? Unfortunately, they're a goal down here at half-time, Exeter City, and in truth, it's been all Derby County. Thankfully for Exeter, it isn't more than just the one. The goal that Derby did score was a terrific goal. It was beautifully worked. It caught Exeter City cold. But really and truthfully, at the other end of the field, Exeter City have not really offered much. And maybe Alan Tong, they're going to make changes at the break.
Yeah, I think he's got to look at his bench, Alan. He'll try and shake this up a little bit. If they're not careful here, this could be getting a little bit embarrassing. If Derby score again, we don't want to see Exeter collapsing. And I'm sure that Gary Cole will be saying to his players at our time, we need more from you. You need to perform better. You've been second best first half. Let's turn it round and have a really good second half.
There are options on the bench, Caroline, tonight. We wait to see whether Gary Colwell will make them at half-time. Derby 1, Exeter City 0.
Thank you very much both. More from Anthony and Alan Tong to come here on BBC Radio Devon. Let's head to Weston-Super-Mare then, and Alan Richardson and Dave Thomas, our summariser this evening. And it's Weston 1, Torquay 0 in National South. Just sum up that first half for us, guys.
Well, I would say probably Torquay were quite lucky to get 0, if you know what I mean. It was a pretty dismal first period from the goals point of view. They did have that one chance, which was entirely of Weston's making, actually, dallying at the back and the ball falling for Brad Ash, who somehow managed to get away from Harry Lee, but from a prone position he could only very slowly stab it towards goal, and Lee somehow managed to sprint across his goal line and claw it out. But otherwise it's largely been one-way traffic down towards the end where the 850 or so Torquay United fans are, and the fact that they are so quiet tells its own tale, really. They looked to weather the storm in the opening 20 minutes. They got to the 17-minute mark, and then Ruben Reid really rolled back the years. It was a wonderful first touch from him as he darted into the penalty area, dummy to shoot first time, and that just brought him that half a yard he needed to get down the right-hand side and finish really well from an acute angle. And well, the home side have looked much the better team, and remember, they have managed to pick up just 5 points out of their last 27, so they're not exactly in great form, but they lead at the break, and deservedly so.
Ruben Reid, there's a name from the past, Alan.
Yes, it is. Well, he's done the rounds, hasn't he? He's one of those few footballers that's played for all 3 Devon sides. He's also played for Yeovil, from Bristol City originally, of course. So, yes, he... I mean, he was never the slimmest of players, let's put it like that. He looks like he's perhaps catching a little bit above his fighting weight these days, but he's certainly got all the attributes you need to be playing football at this sort of level, and he's led the Torquay United defence a merry dance, and as Dave was saying just before the break, you know, young Ollie Tomlinson, who's 2021 former Plymouth Argyle youngster, will have learned an awful lot come the end of this match just from playing up against Ruben Reid, because he's still got all the tricks in the book. He can get up a head of steam as well. He's powerful in the air. He's very, very skillful. He reads the game really well as well. Yeah, he's the perfect footballer. You do wonder sometimes why it is that he's playing his football now for Weston-Super-Mare as opposed to maybe playing it for Torquay United.
Thank you, Alan. Maybe he likes the beach. There you go. Thank you very much, guys. Alan Richardson and Dave Thomas with you for second half of Weston-Super-Mare Torquay United in National South. 8:45 evening. It's Tuesday Night Sport with me, Caroline Densley, here on BBC Radio Devon. Let's go through some of your half-times then in League One. Barnsley 2, Shrewsbury 0. Blackpool 3, Cheltenham 1. Bristol Rovers 0, Stevenage 1. Cambridge 0, Portsmouth 0, Carlisle 0, Burton 1. As you've been hearing with Anthony and Alan tonight, Derby 1, Exeter 0, Lincoln City 1, Charlton 1, Northampton 0, Leyton Orient 1, Port Vale 0, Peterborough 1, Wigan 1, Oxford United 0, Wickham 0, Bolton 2 and Reading 0, Fleetwood 1. That game is still playing there at Reading this evening. Also some Champions League games going on this evening. Of course, Galatasaray beaten by Bayern Munich 3-1 earlier in Group A. It's 0-0 between Manchester United and FC Copenhagen. And also, of course, Arsenal playing this evening in Group B. There at Sevilla, and it's 0-0 there this evening. Into the Championship, Huddersfield 0, Cardiff 3. Millwall 1, Blackburn 1, Norwich 0, Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0, Watford 0, Leicester 1, Sunderland 0. That game's still playing, and after 30 minutes, it's West Brom 0, QPR 0. Let's take a look at some of your sports headlines this evening. And Everton have confirmed the death of Chairman Bill Kenwright, who they say passed away peacefully last night, aged 78, surrounded by his family and loved ones. He'd been in hospital this month and had been in intensive care following complications during surgery to remove a cancerous tumour from his liver. Kenwright spent nearly 20 years as chairman at Everton and was there at the club when Wayne Rooney broke through the ranks. I remember it well. Here's Bill Kenwright being asked in an interview on BBC Radio 5 Live what his first impression of the striker was.
We've all decided at Everton we've got to play down the fact that Wayne Rooney is probably going to be the greatest goal scorer in England. He's fantastic. He's awesome. He's just... You know, Walter said to me 2 years ago, he said, "Bull, I've seen something I've never seen before on a football pitch," and he's everything. He's just got everything. But let's play it down, Ian.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're playing it down very, very well, Bill. That's excellent.
He is. I mean, you know...
No, he's a star, isn't he?
Well, he's awesome. He's awesome. When we played in the second leg of the Youth Cup final at Villa Park, you remember we beat them in the second leg, and I think he didn't score. He shot from the halfway line and rattled the post, and we walked up the steps, and Graham Taylor said to me, "Bill, how much? Here's the check. Anything you want." I mean, he is quite frightening, and he is by far and away the best I've seen. But you know, people who know a lot more about football than I know just say he's the best they've ever seen.
And you can get more on that on the BBC Sport website this evening. Elsewhere in football, Fulham boss Marco Silva has signed a new deal that will keep him at the club until the end of the 2025-26 season. Into cricket, and Test captain Ben Stokes remains committed to England long-term, despite turning down a 3-year contract. That's the message from ECB Managing Director Rob Key. Stokes has signed a 1-year central contract extension instead. Earlier, the ECB announced central contracts for the coming year. Harry Brook, Joe Root and Mark Wood get 3-year deals, whilst Rehan Ahmed, Gus Atkinson and Ben Duckett are amongst those to get central contracts for the first time. Key said Stokes did so because he feels he can negotiate a better deal next year when a new cycle of broadcast rights starts. Key's been explaining the thinking behind offering these multi-year contracts out for the very first time.
Well, we're at a time where there's a lot of opportunities for players now, and we've all been sort of second-guessing for a long time, or certainly for the last year or so since I've been in this job. When's the first year-round deal? When is someone going to choose playing for a franchise over their country? And what the multi-year deals have actually done is it's got our best players to commit to English cricket for the foreseeable future. Obviously, different players for different times, and that's a fantastic thing.
Meanwhile, former England spinner Phil Tufnell says he's been confused by Jos Buttler's captaincy at the World Cup in India. England are bottom of the table with just one win from their 4 matches so far and need to win all their remaining ones to have a chance of reaching the semi-finals.
There doesn't seem to be that sort of clarity of thought. Under Owen Morgan, you knew exactly what kind of England's side were going to go out and what they were looking to achieve. But then if things didn't go their way, they could then sort of like absorb the pressure and then go again. It just seems to me that they're a little bit sort of one-dimensional. And if it doesn't work out early doors, you know, it's almost like the game's gone.
In tennis, and Simona Halep is to appeal the 4-year doping ban she received last year. An independent panel determined the 2-time champion had committed intentional anti-doping violations. And while rugby has today announced a new competition on the men's international calendar, which will start in 2026, the tournament will be made up of 24 teams split into 2 divisions with 12 teams in each, with promotion and relegation starting from 2030.
The natural world continues to surprise us. See mysterious creatures, witness spectacular wonders, and see how animals are adapting in extraordinary ways to survive the new challenges they face.
Enter the new wild. Planet Earth 3. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
BBC Radio Devon Sports with Caroline Densley.
Now, before we head back to Pride Park and the Wood Springs Stadium, tomorrow night we'll have full coverage of Plymouth Argyle against Sheffield Wednesday here on BBC Radio Devon. Alan Richardson's been catching up with manager Stephen Schumacher and started by reflecting on the draw at West Brom at the weekend and bringing back Mike Cooper back into goal.
We played well. We controlled the game first half with the ball. We were excellent going forward, got to some really good areas, didn't make the most of them areas, and then second half defended and withheld the pressure when we in the first 25 minutes, and then grew into the game for the last bit. So yeah, it was a good performance. I say a point on the road is always a good result, so now we have to back it up with another result on Wednesday.
Obviously you had the goal glut against Norwich. Are you a little bit concerned about how many goals you've scored since then?
No, I haven't even thought about it, no.
Fair enough, then. 7 bookings, obviously, on Saturday, which I think is the same as you managed to pick up in the whole of the previous 5 games. Is that a sign of a little bit more grit from Argyle, or is it just how that particular game panned out, do you feel?
I felt a couple of the yellow cards were harsh. I think the ref got a little bit trigger happy in the second half in particular. Some of the fouls were fouls where their players were away from us, and we had to sort of stop them and pull them back. Professional fouls, if you like, and that's what we did speak about in the break, about being a bit more streetwise. We felt we were a little bit nice at times, a bit too easy to play against. So could we get more aggressive? So if we get more aggressive, we're going to foul every now and again, and yeah, if that results in a yellow card, then so be it. Obviously, we don't want cheap yellow cards because yellow cards can turn into red. So we've got to be sensible, but we've still got to be competitive.
You brought back Michael. How difficult a conversation was the one you must have had to have with Connor?
No, it was okay. It was obviously a tough call, tough decision, but Connor's a professional and he's a great lad, so he accepted it. We spoke about it, said I didn't think it was anything to do with him playing poorly. We just really rate Michael as a goalkeeper, and he's been a huge player for us over the last few years. He's a massive asset to the club, and we felt it was the right time to put him back in, and Connor accepted it, said he'll be pushing all the way like he would expect, and I'm sure if he gets another chance he'll do as well as he did in the first 11 games.
A clean sheet, obviously.
Stephen Schumacher there, chatting to Alan Richardson on 95.7 FM in Plymouth and West Devon on DAB Digital Radio and online via the BBC Sounds app. It's Torquay United at Weston-Super-Mare. Dave Thomas from Torbay Weekly and Alan Richardson there.
Many thanks. Welcome back then to the Wood Springs Stadium, where the Torquay United players have been sent out nice and early with a flea in their ear, you would imagine, after a pretty disappointing first half performance. Can't see any signs of any changes, although it must be in the back of Gary Johnson's mind that he needs to alter things somehow. But Torquay United's starting 11 was Mark Halstead in goal, Asa Hall, Aaron Jarvis, Lewis Collins, Brad Ash, Brett McGavin, Finlay Trask, Sean Donlan, Dean Moxey, Ollie Tomlinson and Jack Stobbs. Those substitute options, by the way, should he choose to turn to his bench, are Dylan Crowe, Ross Marshall, Ryan Hanson, Reece Lovett and the youngster Callum Thomas. For the home side, Weston-Super-Mare, who lead by a 1-0 at the break, remember. Harry Lee starts in goal, Kieran Thomas, Jordan Bastin, Jacob Jagger Kane, Lloyd Humphreys, Jason Pope, Robbie Wilmot, James Dodds, James Morton, Opie Edwards and Ruben Reid. On the bench for them are Pernell, Avery, Roddy, Luke Pearce and Rex Mannix. Luke Pearce, of course, who had a brief loan spell at Playmore earlier in the season, didn't really break into the starting 11 or threaten to do so. So returned to his parent club Southampton, who immediately sent him out on loan, and he awaits on the bench should Weston need him this evening. Well, while we've been running through the two teams, the Western side have joined us out on the pitch, and so is our referee, Mr. Sam Reed. And we'll be underway very shortly in the second half here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. And certainly Torquay United needs some sort of reaction to what was a very disappointing first half display from the Gulls. As I say, we were here 5 years ago, and from memory I think Torquay were pretty poor in that first period and responded quite well in the second. Denied by a last-minute equaliser, ironically, by Brad Ash, now of Torquay, then of Weston, after Opie Edwards, then of Torquay, now of Weston, and given them the lead. Our referee took an age to get us underway in this second half, but he has finally done so. And Torquay United it is who will be attacking the 850 fans who've made the trip up from South Devon and are possibly regretting their actions at the moment. Some of them are undercover, quite a lot of them aren't. The rain has actually abated as best it has for quite some time, as Weston have a chance down by the corner of the goal. Unfortunately, Mark Halstead managed to cut it out from an acute angle there, but Torquay just seemed to switch off at the back there again, Dave.
Yep.
Corner then.
They just don't look mentally strong, do they, Alan? I hesitate to say that because you don't want to say it about any team, but they don't look.
Well, there's a Torquay player down here. I'm surprised he was actually on.
Is it a Torquay player or a Western one?
Oh, sorry, you're right. It is a Western player, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not Ruben Reid, I don't think. It's a long way from where we're sitting. We've got to be, what, 60, 70 yards away?
Yeah, as we've touched on, we are the same height as the pitch as well. It certainly isn't Ruben.
They're calling for a change. Lloyd Humphreys, the Western captain, is saying whoever is down.
Is it Bastin? No, it's not Bastin. I can see him.
It's not Opie Edwards. No,
he's leaning. He's got his back against the hoarding, so we certainly can't see. It's almost a case of working out who it isn't, really. And it's that left-hand side of the pitch from their point of view.
I wonder if it's Robbie Wilmot. Oh no, Wilmot's over the corner. I think it might be Jordan Bastin, actually.
No, I think I saw the number 3 moving around.
Oh yeah, he's all right. Who's up?
Number 8. Can we see number 8? It might be Dodd.
Yeah, James Dodd. Well, he's back on his feet, and I think he's going to be okay. So all that, get the change ready signs. Here we go.
Over comes the corner. They get the first flick on, but it's nodded away by Torquay, who could perhaps break down this right-hand side. Ball prodded forward. Gulls have it, and there's an unfortunate slip here. It is very wet. Torquay United did manage to hold on to their feet, and it's broken up by Weston. It was a loose pass, almost picked off, but Ruben Reid manages to pick up possession and roll it out to the right-hand side, and Thomas, he gives it to Edwards, comes inside, and the ball now down the right-hand side. Ball back to the edge of the area. Possible shooting chance, that's blocked off, but still they have it here, Weston. This is Morton. Ball stabbed short down the right-hand side for Thomas. Back to Thomas once more. Good keep ball by the home side. Torquay still can't win possession. Finally, Asa Hall takes matters into his own hands, and ball deflects out of play for a Torquay United throw down this left-hand side. So we're touching on earlier, we are right in the heart of the Torquay fans, so if a bit of choice language coming in from the fans, our apologies. There's very little we can do about it, I'm afraid. Throwing down this left-hand side then for the goals.
Is there a change coming? I think there is. Yeah, it looks as if Dodd has gone off.
Yeah, well, that might not be a bad thing from a Torquay United point of view, because he was certainly pulling the strings in the midfield area for them. So the first change is in the fourth one for Weston.
It's Rex Mannings, I think, is on.
Yeah, one of the players who played in the 2-0 defeat at Braintree on Saturday.
Well, that's a loss for Weston. Dodd has been pretty good, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yeah.
In the middle of midfield.
Yes, he's rather bossed it. Well done by Collins. And now here's Donlan, who fires left-footed, ambitious, from the edge of the area.
Well, by the look of it, United have made a change here. Yeah, actually, Ross Marshall has gone on at half-time. And Sean Donnellan has gone into midfield in place of Asa Hall.
Well, there was a question mark, wasn't there, about how much they might get out of Asa. He looked to be full of running. So both sides have made a change early, well, one at half-time and one early in the second half. As Weston force another corner, but they've got the wind in their sails, really, haven't they, the home side?
Well, United fans must have expected and wanted their team to start the second half a lot quicker than they started the first, and they're not seeing it so far. Maybe that reshuffle will take a minute or two to settle in.
Corner then for Weston, over it comes. Houser could have caught that, punches it away instead. A very strange shot coming in there from
it hasn't even reached the corner flag.
Didn't get close to the corner flag,
no,
did it?
No.
Didn't hit it with any pace.
Yeah, what's happened is United have, sorry to interrupt, Alan, they've switched. Finlay crashed to right back, Marshall and Tomlinson in the middle, Moxey left back, and Sean Donnellan has gone from right back into midfield.
Well, he's going to have
we'll
to
see how they get on with that new bunch of personnel.
I always worry for Torquay when they haven't got either Hall or Lapsley in that midfield area.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Moxey is running across the back line for Marshall. He did score on Saturday, of course, as indeed did Donnellan. Torquay really making heavy weather of trying to get forward here. Oh, challenge coming in for a ball from Ash. Weston just struggling to clear their lines a little bit. Tomlinson wins his header above Reed. And tied it up well by McGavin. That's the twist and turn by Collins. Good ball down this left-hand side for Jarvis. Nobody busting a gut to get in the middle, but now they get there. And Ash got the ball stuck under his feet. And now Edwards can just go past Moxey as if he isn't there and just prod the ball into the path of the new man Mannings. He can't bring it under control though. And have Torquay United come forward. It's real end-to-end stuff here at the moment. It's not exactly
poor pass that, wasn't it, out of Stobbs, just never made it.
There's a lot of poor passes, to be quite honest with
Sorry,
you, David. It's not high quality football. It's not like two boxers going at it. It's like two drunks and a night out, maybe. But for all that, it is making it reasonably entertaining. Ball down this right-hand side. For the home side, I should say. Edwards' ball in towards the near post is disappointing. Clearance is also disappointing, and the possession is picked up once more by the home side. Here's Morton, deepest lying of those midfield players. He gets it forward to Reed. Lovely skills from Reed, but eventually Just over.
Well done, Tomlinson.
Yeah, it was a good challenge from Tomlinson.
He's done all right, actually, for all the fact that we've been praising Ruben Reid, and rightly so. Tomlinson has stuck to his task, hasn't he? And he's not gone under.
Now, Torquay can break forward here. Donlan gives it to Ash. Donlan is taken out of the play there by Edwards. Players allowed to continue. Torquay still have possession, so maybe the referee feels he didn't need to make a decision. Torquay still have it. And again, it all breaks down far too easily, far too cheaply.
Poor.
And now Weston can go quickly over the halfway line. Here's Ruben Reid. Rolls it on further for Edwards. Edwards has got Thomas on the overlap down this right-hand side, which is a difficult situation for Moxie. Donlan comes across to try and help out. Now the ball does go down that right-hand side for Thomas. Little twist and turn on the edge of the penalty area from Jagger Kane, and then out to that right-hand side once more. Thomas into the penalty area. Ruben Reid being forced away from goal once more by the persistence of Ollie Tomlinson. Thomas, and the ball defects out of play for a throwing down this right-hand side for Weston-Super-Mare. But
the worry about the changes United have had to make is that by switching Donnellan in there, as willing soldier as he is, he doesn't have the quality on the ball, strength, willingness, hard work, all of those things to really open up a defence.
Ball lifted into the Torquay United penalty area. It's overhit. It will.
I mean, the players who should be doing that in there are Lewis Collins and, of course, Brett McGavin, but they haven't. We've seen very little of them tonight.
10 minutes played in the second half, and no real signs for change in the pattern of this game.
Torquay fans doing their absolute best to lift their side and get them into a higher gear.
Well, the Gulls are attacking the end where they are in this second half, but I've no doubt they're aware that Yeovil are winning. Could be a 7-point gap between the two sides come end of play as the ball's lifted into the Western penalty area, then lifted in the second time. Might just fall kindly here. Here's Ash, and then he gets underneath his shot and balloons it, slices it some way wide of that right-hand post.
First touch wasn't good enough. Jarvis laid the ball back to him. He either had to hit it first time or his first touch had to be absolutely perfect and then set up the shot, and it just wasn't quite good enough. It hurried him into the shot and he's stuck it over the bar.
Goal kick to be taken then by Harry Lee against the team he used to support as a boy. Gets plenty of distance on it as well.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if he hasn't got a mate or two behind him.
Yes, yeah, very possible.
In the crowd of United fans.
Yeah. Well, he's 18 years old, but he's already a big lad, isn't he?
Well, Exeter still have high hopes of him, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Of course, they've just brought in Sean McDonald, who is on the bench for them this evening, up at Derby. All cleared away by the current number one at Torquay. That's Halstead. The ball goes back to Lee, who's even got a traditional green kit on for a goalkeeper. Crass goes back to his goalkeeper, Halstead. Pushes it away first time. It's all very untidy out there, and then a ball cleared into the face of Donlan, runs kindly into his path. And he's got Moxie on the overlap. Here is Dean Moxie. Moxie in short. That's a good-looking ball. Ash was a little bit on his heels. It's cleared away at the near post.
Got to get across the defender there.
Donlan. That's a risky ball he tried.
Telegraphed that, didn't he?
It was almost a impossible ball. He's trying to pull off anyway. Here's Ruben Reid. Gives it to Morton. Helps it across the back line for Weston. Here's Humphreys.
With this formation you've got, with McGavin playing in front of the defence, Ash often has to try and drop back to almost a sort of a left midfield role, and it leaves Jarvis very isolated on his own up front. And whilst Ruben Reid is more than happy to do that job because he's been doing it all his life, Jarvis needs a bit more support than that.
It's been a very impressive display actually from Ruben Reid. Not here by the Torquay defence. That was ridiculous.
I think this is the booking coming up. Yeah, booking for Ross Marshall.
Well, it was an awful first touch from him.
It was.
And then the defender managed to, the striker managed to get away from him, and he pulled him back. And Torquay now have a free kick to defend, midway inside their half of the pitch.
Second booking for the goals. McGavin picked up one in the first half.
So once again, this line of Western players forms on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. Still waiting for this free kick to be taken. The referee just sorting out a little bit of bumping and boring. And it's towards the back post, a good looking one, headed away, falls very kindly and lashed over the top of the crossbar. What a chance that was. That should have been 2-0 and pretty much game over.
I think that was Opie Edwards, wasn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I think it was. Well, he scored here, of course, in that corresponding fixture 5 years ago, and absolutely he should have buried that chance. It just fell really kind for him, probably somewhere around the penalty spot, or maybe just a stride or two to the left of it, and somehow, trying to go for power, he's put a little bit too much height on it, and it's gone over. And Torquay United are still in this one, 1-0 down, although they're not playing well. Brad Ash gives it back to Tomlinson. Tomlinson, poor ball to the edge of the penalty area, cleared away. Marshall battles away for possession for Torquay. Mannings then gives it back to Bastin. Mistake. The shot is charged down. It was an unlikely effort, really.
Brad Ash is still playing further behind Moxey down the left-hand side, and has been for the last 2 or 3 minutes. He's supposed to be a striker.
Yeah, well, I suppose if Moxey goes forward, then Ash needs to fill in at the back.
True, but not that long.
No. And the worrying thing was he wasn't really picking up Edwards anyway, was he? He was sort of vaguely in that sort of area of the pitch. There's been a couple of occasions when Torquay have looked open down this left-hand side. I think probably when Moxey has pushed forward a little bit. Unfortunately, the final ball from Weston hasn't been good enough.
They get the ball at the back, look, which they're doing again now, and every time a lad at the back looks up for something on, somebody on the move, somebody running, it just isn't there.
Oh, it might run now for Jarvis. Jarvis! Where's the equaliser? Brilliant from Aaron Jarvis! Well, he headed it on himself, and then the ball fell very kindly for him just inside the penalty area. It was a really good finish by Torquay United's top scorer, and out of nothing, the goals are level. Weston 1, Torquay 1.
Well, I was just saying we couldn't see where on earth the goal was coming from, but what a remarkable effort by Aaron Jarvis. A completely down, a solo effort. It was a nothing ball up front. He was surrounded by defenders. He won one header, chested the ball down, took it between 2 defenders, held them off, and then tucked a left foot shot into the back of the net. And United are level from absolutely nowhere.
Well, Weston will be looking back at this and thinking, you know, it came about 2 minutes after the chance for Opie Edwards as well, didn't it? Which was a much easier chance.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of fortune maybe in the first touch from Jarvis, but after that it was brilliant from the big man. Torquay United with their tails up now. Here's Collins inside the centre circle. Moxey's again bombing forward down this left-hand side. Tomlinson does need to be aware of his runs.
Can his teammates keep the ball long enough so that he's not caught out?
Well, he hasn't got the pace to get back there if Weston break quickly. There's a yellow flare gone off in the Torquay end. And
been warnings about that before kick-off. How silly can you get? My goodness. There are some gormless people about, aren't there?
Well, police are certainly looking very close as this situation as Torquay go forward again. It's Jarvis almost lost in the mist. He's held off on this occasion just about fairly inside the penalty area. Ball cleared up towards the halfway line. Torquay have it again. Playing with a little bit more confidence now, the goals. That's the confidence a goal brings you, especially when you don't really deserve it, maybe. Ball cleared away by Weston. It comes back to Torquay again. Here's McGavin, just shy of the penalty area, steps out to the left-hand side now. Will Moxie try a shot? No, he crosses it in instead. Just behind Jarvis, who battles away for possession. Humphreys gets involved. Well done by Donlan. Gets it out to Collins. Collins across towards the back post. Was there a push coming in there on Ash? Not spotted by the referee. And cleared away by Weston. But all of a sudden, this game's completely turned on its head, Dave.
Amazing. Why on earth weren't they playing in this gear in the first hour of the match? Just extraordinary. That one moment from Jarvis, his 9th goal of the season, by the way, has completely changed the whole feeling of the match. It's changed the mood of the Torquay team. Can they now go on and win it?
Well, from a Western point of view, I think they'll just look to weather it for 10 minutes or so, won't they? Because Torquay really, for the first time in this game, have got their tails up and are palpably on top at the moment. Throw-in for United. Down the right-hand side. Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 1 here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. There's the ball forward, looking for Jarvis, who goes down in the heap on the edge of the penalty area, and now the break on could be on down the other end. Ruben Reid's got a head of steam up as he runs up against Ollie Tomlinson. Moxie comes across to help out as well, and Moxie does really well. He's doubling up to help out Tomlinson. Tidied up by Humphreys. Thomas knocks the ball inside to Jagger Kane.
What a wonderful little duel that was between Ruben Reid and Dean Moxie. My goodness, how much know-how is there between those four legs?
As I said, they must have a combined age of very close to 70. How old's Dino now? 37?
37, Dean Moxie is, yes.
I'm pretty sure that Ruben's 33. So, yeah, we're certainly getting there. Torquay have possession again. Not a very good ball.
Poor ball by Jarvis, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Donlan's done all right since he's got into the midfield area. He's making life difficult for...
But he's doing it by just what we were referring to before, sheer hard work and effort.
Yeah, there's too much craft about it necessarily. That's a poor ball by Weston. And Ash almost nipped it. Humphrey showed them the ball and then took it away. And good clearance from him down the right-hand side. Goes out of play, thrown for Torquay United level with the
25 minutes to go.
Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 1 here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. Goals for the two number 9s and high quality finishes as well, weren't they?
Absolutely. Jarvis was the odds were completely against him there, weren't they? Scoring a goal when the ball first went up to it. Won a header, was then strong enough to hold well. Two defenders off probably on the next ball.
Here's the up and under for Ash to try and chase. It makes life difficult for the Western defence, and all of a sudden Torquay United have started competing all over the pitch. Funnily enough, it's looking a lot better for them.
Rain's still pouring down, by the way.
Yeah. It's not dulling the spirits of the Gulls fans behind that goal being defended by one of their own, Harry Lee. Season ticket holder at Playmore, now on Exeter City's books, but on loan at Weston, the 18-year-old. Poor throw and easily nodded away by Jagger Kane. Torquay come up with the possession again down the right-hand side. All helped on for Stops, who goes past his man, lifts towards the back post, double fist away by the goalkeeper Lee. Donlan. Now here's the shot from a long way out from Jarvis. Goodness knows what he was doing that deep. And now McGavin will hit it. That's deflected. And Harry Lee will save it from going behind for Torquay corner. It's end-to-end stuff, isn't it? Torquay forcing men forward. They were open at the back if that pass had got through. Now they picked it off.
We did mention this thing, didn't we, before, that it didn't look like a part-time against a full-time team, but now the second half is starting to map out, and United are looking stronger and more at it, as it were. And Weston are just having to soak it up.
Now, if Jarvis could get a flick on here, which he didn't manage to do, there was a chance of playing in Collins, who was just going ahead of him. Here's Ruben Reid, being forced back towards the halfway line. Good play again by Ollie Tomlinson. Certainly come on leaps and bounds. It was a little bit of a surprise when he's released by Plymouth Argyle a couple of seasons ago, but
It's taken him a couple of years, though, hasn't it? He had a very good loan spell at Chippenham towards the end of last season, and
yeah, well, he looked like a young man. This is a brilliant run here by Thomas, and then a deflected effort, which Houston was really struggling to backpedal and push over the top of the crossbar.
I think he tipped it onto the bar, didn't he?
He may well have done. He certainly either touched it onto the bar or then rattled the bar as he was trying to push it over.
It was a deflected effort, which was the reason why he was caught out.
Well, those of you of a certain age, and Dave and I fit into this category, may remember the one that Peter Schilt conceded in the 1990 semi-final.
Oh, steady on, Alan.
Just against Germany, it just span and overcomes the corner. Nodded on
He didn't get there, did he?
Weston, and that's gone. In fact, actually, it's come off from a Torquay head, but yeah, there's nothing worse than a ball that's spinning. They're very difficult to judge, aren't they? Especially if it's a wet ball as well, which it is. Weston look like they may have just weathered that little storm around the Torquay equaliser. Weston 1, Torquay United 1. Good header at the near post by Moxie. But they still have it to the visitors. Jagger Kane lifted in towards the back post once more. Maybe a little bit too deep for everybody in a white shirt, and Dolman can just make sure that goes out of play, and it will be a goal kick then for Torquay United. Torquay 1, Weston-Super-Mare 1 here. Just a little over 20 minutes left to play. Substitute options still available to Gary Johnson, by the way, Dylan Crowe, Ryan Hansen, Reece Lovett, and the youngster Callum Thomas, who is not too much of a
rookie pro.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a poor ball by Collins. There were lots of attacking options up front for United then. Just tried to do a cheeky little volleyed pass forward, and it didn't go to any of his teammates. Fell to a defender, and Weston got it clear. Not quite good enough.
Yeah, it's been a high proportion of missed passes by both sides really this evening. It's not been a great advert for National League South football, but it's been exciting, I guess, in its own way. Here come Torquay again down the right-hand side. Actually, nobody waiting in the middle at all in a blue shirt, though. Cross eventually had to come in. And that's a very good sliding challenge coming in there from Aaron Jarvis. What level do you think Aaron Jarvis could play at?
What level?
What level?
Good question. He's finally added some goals to... You know, he's always been a decent target man. He was at Luton, didn't quite make it there. Scunthorpe, he never scored any goals, and at long last he's finally managed to add some goals. Mind you, what was it, 5 of his 9 penalties so far, but you couldn't argue with the one he's put away tonight.
No.
He's physical, strong.
Ball cleared away by Lee. They're straight down the middle. Housted, he's in absolute no man's land here, and it's a penalty to Weston, a handball, I think.
Marshall.
Well, if it's Marshall, he could be in serious trouble here because he's already on a yellow.
Out of nothing.
It was a ball straight down the middle of the park, and somehow or other, I don't know what Torquay were doing at all. They're just after me, after you.
Switched off.
Housted didn't really come with any conviction.
He didn't.
And of course, it's Ruben Reid who's going to put this ball on the spot as well.
Talk about shooting yourself in the foot when you've just got yourself back into the match. Marshall still trying to have a go at the linesman.
Well, it's the far end from us, but certainly to a man Weston appealed. And it was just really scruffy. I mean, it wasn't quite on the Maidstone level, but I mean, it was after me, after you, and
yeah,
nobody taking control. So Reid scores, and it is 2-1 to Weston-Super-Mare with time running out here for Torquay United. 18 minutes left to play. Reid sends Houston the wrong way, and all Torquay's hard work, well, I use the phrase hard work in its loosest terms, is undone. They're going to have to come from behind again here.
Put that one away well, didn't he?
Well, he was always pretty useful from the penalty spot, wasn't he?
He's a quality man on the ball.
Yeah.
And he just ran up, waited for that split second for Halstead to make up his mind. and Halstead went to his right. Reed drove the ball into the opposite corner of the net.
Well, it's such a good penalty, quite honestly. If Halstead had gone the right way, he probably wouldn't have got there. But I'm pretty sure I've talked penalties with Ruben Reed before in the long distant past, and I mean, he just thinks of it as a free shot at goal, and well, I suppose it is, isn't it, really? So how can Torquay react to that? They have been playing quite well the last 10 minutes, probably the best that they have been at any stage in the game, but they're behind here again. Here's McGavin being forced back towards the halfway line. There's not much behind him either. Marsh gives it out to the right-hand side. And if it was handball by Marshall, I think the referee was perhaps a little bit generous to allow him to stay on the pitch, really. Bearing in mind he's already on a booking. Ball now back to Lee, who clears away down the left-hand side. It's pretty quiet again away to our left-hand side. Going on a frustrating run at the moment, really. This will be their third defeat in 4 in the league, if it stays like this. As far as we know, Yeovil is still winning at home to Weymouth, so the gap is going to be up to 7 points between them and the early season pace setters. Just playing the ball across the back line at the moment to Marshall.
Moxie pointing very obviously there where he wanted somebody to be, and nobody was. Nobody showing for the ball.
He's stuck forward again down this left-hand side. It was a hopeful ball really by McGavin, and now he needs to get back and try and win possession back again. Here's Ruben Reed, who's on a hat-trick, remember, Reed. Teasing Tomlinson, helps on one more for Morton, and then good play by House to fall on that one, I think. Not sure whether the Western fans thought that was a back pass or whether they thought it had gone out of play, but either way the referee's happy with both scenarios. And the ball will be cleared by Mark Halstead.
I think so, yeah. No, I think so.
Straight down the middle it goes. Nodded away. Torquay have possession again on the halfway line with Moxie. Moxie plays it down the line, looking for the run of Aaron Jarvis. That ball's forced out of play, and I suspect out to the ground there by Kieran Thomas.
This will be a long throw from Moxie. Can United get anybody on the near post to flick it on?
Well, Jarvis is in that area. Can't actually see Moxie wearing the captain's armband. I assume he must have it. That ball has now come back onto the pitch from a long way out. Well, how long is this? Can this throw be? There's nobody near post at the moment for Torquay. I assume somebody's going to make a dart into that area. Yeah, here we go. In fact, it's a relatively short one. Stab back to Moxie. Moxie takes a touch. Ash gets it back to Donlan, who dummies the cross, then gets it onto his left foot. That may be a bad decision by him, because his cross with his left foot was desperately disappointing, and it's gone straight out of play for a goal kick.
Quality.
Yeah, it was all very well.
Lack of it.
Yeah, dumbing it onto your left foot, your weaker foot, but when the cross is like that, you might just as well whip it in with the right. News of another goal coming in from Pride Park, by the way. Derby County 2, Exeter City 0. Regions staring down the barrel of a 6th successive league defeat there. Commentary on that match continues on 95.8 FM in Exeter and East Devon, and across the county on 103.4 FM, and it's also on Freeview channel 720 this evening. Here, it's a disappointing evening all round for Devon. Torquay United are 13 minutes away from another defeat here against Weston-Super-Mare.
Oh, this is not the performance of a team that you'd mark down as genuine promotion contenders. Not somewhere like this, with all due respect to...
Jarvis gets the flick on.
To Weston.
Gets stuck under the feet of Ashwell. When you look at the run that Weston are on as well. Little flick on there. Humphreys certainly caught Jarvis. Referee quick to pull that one back for a free kick then for Torquay United. This is pretty central and maybe 30 yards out.
Jarvis certainly the only player in the Torquay attack who's ever going to win a header.
Yellow card for Humphreys. So what can Torquay engineer from here? As I say, it is pretty central. It's very slightly to the right of centre, but angles and all that sort of thing. There's nobody looking to go on a little run down that right-hand side, even to see if it moves one or two Western players out of position slightly. So it's a two-man Western wall, and then virtually every other outfield player is on the edge of the penalty area, apart from Moxey, McGavin, and Collins are a little bit shy. Now a Torquay player has gone down the right-hand side, ball lifted in, headed away by Humphreys. Good first touch by McGavin. Stops down the right-hand side, gets a cross in, that's onto the head of Humphreys again. Now Torquay United will have to go all the way back to Halstead. Not the best of balls back to him either, really. Halstead, route one straight down the middle. Drops kindly for Jarvis. And then Edwards gets it back to his goalkeeper. Little slip there from Harry Lee. And the Torquay United throwing down this left-hand side. Weston-Super-Mare 2, Torquay United 1 here on BBC Radio Devon Sport.
Well, if United lose this match, they have only themselves to blame. Very poor first-half performance. Lucky to be only 1-0 down at half-time. Picked it up in the second half. Very, very good equaliser. Just watching play.
Jarvis, a little flick on. Ash could be in here. Ash is lifting a sitter over the top of the crossbar. Oh my goodness me, what a chance that was for Brad Ash. He'd have seen Harry Lee arriving in front of him, and somehow they managed to get the knockdown from Jarvis, and he's lifted over the top of the crossbar from inside the 6-yard box, I would say.
Just to the edge of the 6-yard box, isn't it?
Yeah, almost easier to...
He's missed 2 or 3 at Plainmoor in the last few weeks, hasn't he? Really big chances with the keeper to beat. That's what he was brought to Plainmoor to do, to put the ball into the net in those situations.
Yeah.
He's got 6 this season, but you've got to be hitting the target from there, haven't you?
Well, in theory, that big man, little man combination of him and Jarvis should work absolutely perfectly, because between them they've got everything. But Jarvis did his part of the job, the little flick on, which ran very kindly for Ash inside the penalty area, and very centrally from the edge of the 6-yard box. He's put it over the top. Silly challenge coming in there, and a cheap free kick for Weston. He'll be starting to see the finishing line inside now.
It's a booking for Donnellan as well. Whether that was for something he said,
I can't believe it was for the foul, because although it was silly, it wasn't exactly dangerous. So maybe a little bit of back chat from Sean Donnellan has earned him a place in the book. Signs of frustration from the goals, frustration from the 850 or so travelling fans as well.
Well, they were down in the dumps for most of the first half. Suddenly found their voice with Jarvis's goal. Fully expecting United to follow up and pour on the pressure, and then they've just pressed the self-destruct button big time at the back. Hesitant play, a needless handball, penalty, and Weston, who could hardly get a touch in the previous 10 or 15 minutes, handed back the lead.
Torquay going to make a change in a minute. We'll see on the far side who it is who might be coming on. We'll find out in a minute. They do have possession. Moxey, good ball forward. And Collins header, trying to find somebody in a light blue shirt, comes to nothing.
I would think this is Hansen, isn't it?
Well, looking at the substitute options, I can't imagine it'll be anybody else, but we'll find out in a minute. For Moxey to take.
Moxey pushing on down the left at every opportunity. Don't know who's going off for Hansen.
It's McGavin. Not been his evening, Brett McGavin. Which is unfortunately something we say quite a bit, isn't it? There's definitely a player in there, but whether anybody can get it out of him, I don't know.
Doesn't dominate games like a player of his gift should do.
Right, well, finally, Moxie will be allowed to take this throw down this left-hand side. Gives it short to Collins. Collins curls one in, not enough height on it, nodded away very easily. Break could be on here. Hansen gets involved, gives the ball out to the right-hand side. And then Torquay should tidy up back to Halstead. Hurried clearance by Halstead down this right-hand side. Nodded away by Bastin. And now a free kick.
Donnellan has to be careful. He's been booked. It's a second foul. It wasn't a bad one. It was a routine foul, but United trying to build up a head of steam here. You can imagine that Weston may well start to make a couple of changes of their own just to break United's attempt to pull this back up.
It'll just be a bitty finish to the end from a Weston point of view.
Well, they don't have to do anything, do they? They just have to hang on here.
No, well, they're hardly hanging at the moment. In fact, they're going forward. Ball cleared away by Torquay. It's a good header by Jarvis. Or the idea was okay, but it's a little bit behind Donlan. He was quickly surrounded by players in white, and Weston have it again. That's a strange cross shots being fired in.
Is that a throw or a goal kick?
I think it's a throw. I've no idea whether it was a shot or a cross.
Here we go. Just what we thought would happen. Weston starting to make a change with just over 5 minutes to go.
I suppose when you've won only one of your last 9 and lost 6 of them, there must be a possibility they might get nervous in the closing stages here.
Opie Edwards is off. And Luke Pearce is on.
I had a brief loan at Playmore, but couldn't really break into the first team. Just to see what he can do in these last few minutes here. Southampton loanee. I mean, Gary keeps saying, doesn't he, he doesn't want to bring in loans if he can't play them, and he doesn't think any of them can get into his team, but you know, they've lost, or they're about to lose 4 of their last 5 in all competitions as things stand, as the ball's glanced back to his goalkeeper there by Jason Pope.
Is that the run, Alan? Oh, including the cup?
Including the cup,
yeah.
Including the cup. Which was against National League South opposition as well. Ball ricochets out to this right-hand side. Thomas trying to go inside his man, doesn't manage to do so. Throwing down this right-hand side then for Weston. They beat Torquay United by 2 goals to 1. No great hurry for them to take it. Still, they managed to hold on to possession, though. Jagger Kane for Ruben Reid, who's still sitting on a potential hat-trick, of course. Morton is Wilmot. Just drifting across the face of the Torquay United penalty area, out towards the left-hand side. Mannings gives it back to Wilmot, then has it back again. Starting to go through their party pieces here a little bit, Weston, as they defend deep in the Torquay half of the pitch. Here's Thomas, thinks about a shot, he's hit it very well. It's a difficult one as well, skidding along the surface, and that's a better save maybe than some people might think from Mark Halstead, who just got across and pushed that one away. Hit it well, and it skidded just in front of him,
just
didn't
bounced
it?
in front of him. They're horrible, those, aren't they? Especially on a wet pitch like this.
Yeah, they don't always dress clean.
Well, Weston are game managing this situation very well, as managers like to say. United are not threatening.
It's been very lacklustre here from the Gulls. Weston trying to walk it in at the moment. If they manage to force a corner, no. Well played Mark Halstead, who goes sprawling across past his left-hand post to grab that one off a Torquay deflection. And the He'll then look to clear away, and we are into the final 2 minutes of the 90 here as Jarvis goes down. And remarkably, it's been given as a free kick against Aaron Jarvis.
I must say I don't agree with that one, but the ref's a bit closer than we are, and it's his decision. And at the moment, United with probably got 5 minutes to go, haven't they, including stoppage time, maybe a bit more, and not looking like coming from behind for a second time. The referee has now booked Harry Lee for time wasting.
Well, the only thing I would say is it didn't look like they were going to come from behind the first time, and they found a way, so you never know. Ball out of play once more. Yeovil still lead Weymouth by a goal to nil, by the way, in the closing stages of that one. St Albans 3, Slough 2, Hemel Hempstead 0, Braintree 2, Hampton and Richmond 3-1 up against Worthing. Torquay there, of course, on Saturday. Farnborough 4-1 up against Tunbridge Angels, 1 apiece Eastbourne and Dartford, and Bath are 3-0 up at home in another of those West Country derbies against Taunton. And Harry Lee almost gifted it there to Brad Ash. He was ever so lucky as Ash closed him down again. That's going to be something they're going to have to work on a little bit. Harry Lee in those sort of situations. He just got lucky. Well played here from Ryan Hansen. Very well played from Hansen. Now can Donlan find the perfect ball? No, he can't. By the time he looked up to try and work out who to clear it to, Wilmot nicked in and nicked the ball away from him. Foul possibly from Torquay, but Weston continued to break forward. Good sliding challenge coming in to deny that.
Still, United have got nobody back to get the ball.
Weston have it again on the edge of the penalty area. Put it back to Thomas, who hit that terrific shot a little bit earlier. Thinks about another one. It's gone in. That's a mistake by Halstead. And Thomas has scored from the edge of the box to put this game to bed. Mark Halstead will be desperately disappointed with that one. Thomas had a sighter earlier. That one was along the ground and pitched just in front of the goalkeeper. That one was, well, perfect height, really. Halstead should have done better.
Absolutely.
Weston have won this one.
Well, United have lost tonight and they have only themselves to blame. Sorry to repeat that line. United supporters heading for the exits in their hundreds, and you cannot blame them. That was a real mistake by Mark Halstead. Had a very good view of it. Shot from 25 yards, something like that, Alan?
Yeah.
From Thomas. All right, they always look as if they're screamers when they hit the target from there, but it may have swerved a little bit, but not enough to beat a keeper of his experience. And United have lost fairly ignominiously in Somerset tonight.
Yeah, they've barely gone down with a whimper, really. Here come Torquay. Stops the cross in, and there's the header, and it should have been one back at least for Torquay, and
Moxie.
Somehow or other Moxie couldn't quite get the purchase he wanted at the back post, and Lee managed to grab it, and it remains 3-1. I suppose it would have made for an exciting last couple of minutes. We are into injury time. Well, I haven't seen that ball go up from the fourth official. Not even sure whether we've got a fourth official here.
Yeah, none in this league.
Have we? No, we haven't. So there's nobody to put the board up. Throwing down the right-hand side for Torquay United. Well, we've played a minute and a half past the 90. If that one had gone in from Moxie, and it was a good chance, it might just have been a grandstand finish here. At the moment, we just have a little bit of a break in play as the home side prepare to make their final change. Weston-Super-Mare 3.
Wilmot off.
Yeah, in no great hurry. So the final change is made. Sam Avery is the player who has come onto the pitch as the ball's hit diagonally far too long from Torquay United. That's into the rapidly dwindling bank of Torquay United fans behind that goal of Harry Lee's. Not been a good performance by the Gulls, but they have had the chances. You think of that Brad Ash one at 2-1, and even that one for Dean Moxey a couple of moments ago. Admittedly, that was at 3-1.
Ash was the miss, wasn't it?
Yeah. Offside flag now against Aaron Jarvis. First time we've seen an offside flag, I feel, this evening. So free kick then for Weymouth. Deep into injury time here. Ball cleared away to Moxey. And now he's one for Ash to chase down this left-hand side, but Humphries has a good head start on him. And Humphries gets there and clears away. And that one will be tidied up back to Mark Halstead. Whacks it down that right-hand side, but there's far too much on it. And that one's going to dribble out of play somewhere down towards the western corner flag. They're in no great hurry to take it. It's been a good night for the home side after the recent run that they've been on. Ball finally goes out of play for a Torquay United throw on the halfway line. The electronic clock tells us we've played 4.5 minutes past the 90 now. Moxey plays a quick 1-2 with Collins, and Moxey towards the edge of the penalty area. Jarvis gets it back to Donlan. Donlan rolls it onto the right-hand side, then helps it on for Stobbs. Stobbs with a good-looking cross again, and it's in. It's an own goal
by Thomas
of all people. And Torquay United get another one back. It was a cross to that same sort of area, really, that Dean Moxey was attacking earlier. And now we've got a problem here with a Torquay fan who I think has come over the top of the...
No, it's a player.
It is a Torquay player, isn't it? He's gone skidding over there, holding his left leg. Is it Aaron Jarvis?
I think it is, yeah.
Yes, it is Aaron Jarvis. Not quite sure how on earth he ended up in that particular area.
No.
So I think Torquay are going to have to play the last few seconds here with 10 men, with their goal scorer off the pitch. It doesn't look like he's going to come back anytime soon. And this is the frustration, of course, and we don't know how much time is being added on, but I can't believe there's very much left. Ball forced out of play. Still not looking at all good for Aaron Jarvis. That might be the biggest disappointment of the night altogether if Jarvis has picked up a serious knock.
Still hasn't moved.
Well, the play's down the other end of the pitch at the moment. And Torquay, I think, are going to make a change here, so I assume they're just going to take Jarvis off simply because he's clearly not going to be in a position to continue at the moment. He's not looking happy at all, Aaron Jarvis.
No, he isn't.
I think it might be his right leg. Didn't see what happened there at all, but...
Dylan Crowe is coming on.
Well, I don't know how they're going to rejig this. Crowe's gone into a defensive position at the moment.
Jarvis has not effectively moved since colliding with the fence behind the goal, and there's a couple of... No, they're a couple of policemen, actually. Not.
Yeah.
If they've lost Jarvis as well as a result of this tonight, then it's hard to imagine a
worse night.
In
the meantime, Ross Marshall's been forced upfield as a makeshift striker. Still, we play on here. Torquay have got another player down. They have now used their bench, and looks like he's in trouble as well. Is this Donlan? But the Western players in particular are concerned. They're immediately calling the Western physio over because, of course, the Torquay physio is still tied up with Aaron Jarvis.
Yeah, Jarvis is sitting up, but he's not quite sure what he's injured. It's very difficult to tell.
Not just going from bad to worse here from a Torquay United point of view.
It's not Donnellan.
Is it Krask?
I wonder if it's Moxie.
Well, if you're going to lose two players,
I think it might be Moxie.
You couldn't think of two worse players to lose, but I mean, there was immediate concern there from the two Western players around him, and they were calling for their physio to come on, as I say, because Torquay United's is tied up with Aaron Jarvis, who's being helped away now by the physio and limping away from the scene.
At least he's up on his feet, which is taking an awful long time.
Yeah, there's no weight being put on that left leg at all. That's the problem area. I don't know how much time we've got left to add on here, but
what is the problem with Moxie?
It's anybody's guess what time we're going to finish, but we've already played 8.5 minutes of added on time. And Torquay may well wish that they'd just blown his whistle after 93 minutes. They'd lost 3-1, but kept Jarvis and Moxie. Very long break in play here.
We haven't had an attendance, I don't think, have we?
I haven't heard an attendance. You don't know how much time's being added on. Aaron Jarvis is now walking under his own steam. Yeovil's beaten Wickham by 2-0, by the way. Well, Torquay's big number 9 doesn't look happy. And I think you're right, I think it's Moxie. It looks like it might be a nose or something like that, I would think, is the problem with it. It's some sort of head. I think it's a badly bleeding nose. So Moxie's coming off. So Torquay will have to play the last few moments of this match with 10. Can they somehow turn the screw here, try and lift it into the edge of the penalty area? They win the first flick on. And then that's going to be a free kick. Short. No, there goes the full-time whistle. The referee decides he doesn't want to make that decision now. I think it would have been a free kick on the edge of the Torquay United penalty area. Sorry, on the edge of the Western penalty area. The referee's blown his full-time whistle. And it's another defeat for Torquay United. They've been beaten here by 3-2. Just very quickly, your thoughts, Dave?
Not good enough, Alan. Way off the pace. You can't win games at any level by playing in fits and starts like that. Very poor first half. Got themselves back into it with a tremendous equaliser solo equaliser by Jarvis. You think, right, well, they go on and win it, and they absolutely press a stop. Well, they kick themselves in the foot, don't they? Dreadful penalty to give away in those circumstances. Western not in the game at the time. Thank you very much. And Western have thoroughly deserved it in the end. Not good enough.
3-2, Western have beaten Torquay.
Late Nights with Becky Want.
This is a first for me.
And Joe Good.
I like doing late nights because all the creatures of the night come out. No secrets. You've got to be open. I think you've got to give of yourself when you're on air. You've got to be authentic. So, yeah, my poor husband gets brought up all the time. My beautiful boy has grown up with being featured on my radio programme. So, yeah, that won't change.
I talk about my dog. In fact, we are going to do a feature called Barking at the Moon, which will feature many dogs. So I am really excited about this.
Late Night Becky, Sunday to Thursday. Late Night Joe, Friday and Saturdays.
BBC Radio Devon.
BBC Radio Devon Sport with Caroline Densley.
Wow, what an end to the evening it's been here on BBC Radio Devon Sport. Derby 2, Exeter 0, Weston-Super-Mare 3, Torquay 2. Felt like it was about 15, 16 minutes of added on time there. Here's those goals then, going the wrong way for Exeter.
Sibley immediately turns and looks to spread it out towards the left, where Forsyth will cushion the ball down for Bird. Bird in towards Mendes-Lang. Oh, it's the opening goal. And you have to say it's beautifully worked by Derby County. They caught Exeter City cold, and Nathaniel Mendes-Lang on the half hour scores for Derby. Derby 1, Exeter City 0. Washington from the left-hand side. He's got options inside the penalty area. Washington wants to keep going. Shots away, and he's finished it. Connor Washington had all the time in the world, and he's just won this game for Derby County. Derby County 2, Exeter City 0.
That's 6 defeats in a row now for Exeter City. They face Lincoln next on Saturday at home. In National League South, Weston-Super-Mare 3, Torquay United 2. Here are those goals.
Here's Ruben Reid with a shooting chance on the edge of the area. Dummies to hit it and then goes down the right-hand side, then does hit it into the back of the net. It's a great finish from Ruben Reid. Rolling back the years there, Reid. Dummy to shoot first time and then sprinted down the right-hand side and from a pretty acute angle has drilled the ball into the roof of the net, and Weston take the lead. Weston-Super-Mare 1, Torquay United 0. Oh, it might run now for Jarvis. Jarvis! Where's the equaliser? Brilliant from Aaron Jarvis. Well, he headed it on himself, and then the ball fell very kindly for him just inside the penalty area. It was a really good finish by Torquay United's top scorer. And out of nothing, the goals are level. Weston 1, Torquay 1. So Reid scores, and it is 2-1 to Weston-Super-Mare with time running out here for Torquay United. 18 minutes left to play. Reid sends Houston the wrong way. And all Torquay's hard work, well, I use the phrase hard work in its loosest terms, is undone. Put it back to Thomas, who hit that terrific shot a little bit earlier. Thinks about another one. It's gone in. That's a mistake by Halstead. And Thomas has scored from the edge of the box to put this game to bed. Mark Halstead will be desperately disappointed with that one. Gets it back to Donlan. Donlan rolls it onto the right-hand side, then helps it on for Stobbs. Stobbs with a good-looking cross again, and it's in. It's an own goal
by Thomas
of all people. And Torquay United get another one back.
Wow. Wow, indeed. What an evening it's been here on BBC Radio Devon Sports.
BBC Radio Devon Sports. With Caroline Densley.
And we've got about 4 minutes left of the programme, which is slightly unusual because usually we're kind of done and dusted by about 9:45, but lots of extra time played at Weston-Super-Mare. But let's head to Pride Park and get the final thoughts of Alan Tong then, who's been watching the game, finishing 2-0 to Derby. Was I right in thinking, listening to you guys on commentary tonight, there were no shots on goal for Exeter? Ooh. Hi, Alan. I was just wondering.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi,
okay?
Yeah, good. Just asking you the question about the fact no shots on goal for Exeter. Is that a worry tonight?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think over the last 6 games now the goals have kind of dried up, and the worrying thing really is Exeter's not really creating anything, and they're not putting enough pressure on teams in and around the penalty area. And as we know, Caroline, goals win games only if you're not scoring. You're up against it, and They seem to all of a sudden just gone into a real barren spell, a real dry spell that somehow, through the management and the players, are going to have to try and find a way out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got Lincoln at the weekend, just checking in on how they did this evening in League One. They beat Charlton 3-1. 6 defeats on the bounce for Exeter. I don't want to be the Doommeister because I am very much a glass half full kind of lady. But how are you feeling?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good attitude. I think that's what everybody's got to do. It's easy to start pointing fingers and everything starts panicking. Everybody starts making wrong decisions. But it wasn't that long ago that Exeter were playing some decent football. And even on Saturday against Wigan, I think coming out of that, I think Gary Caldwell was quite happy with the performance. Yes, we lost 2-0, but there were some good starts that created some chances and stuff like that. But at the moment, that performance tonight, Derby County definitely wanted it more than Exeter City, and that's how I can best describe it in simple terms. And there wasn't enough passion from Exeter, and that's heartbreaking when you see the fans who travelled a long way to come and watch the team, and they go and put in a performance like that was like really poor. That's probably the most disappointing aspect for myself.
Top job tonight, Alan. Safe journey home. Thank you so much, as always. Let's head to Weston-Super-Mare then and catch up with Alan Richardson. Blimey, Alan, 3-2 to Weston-Super-Mare. We've got about a minute and a half left. Can you sum it up in a minute and a half?
Desperately bad evening for Torquay United. They probably would have wished they blew the full-time whistle at 93 minutes when they were 3-1 down, really, because they picked up two really nasty-looking injuries deep into injury time. Aaron Jarvis, who's their top scorer, got them back into the game at 1-1. He was involved somehow in the late goal that they did manage to pull back, but I don't know whether he collided with a hoarding or something like that, but he limped away. And then almost immediately they finally restarted. Dean Moxey also picked up an injury as well. So Torquay United finished the game with 10, and they picked up nothing from it as well, which is probably precisely what they deserve, really. They were pretty lacklustre, pretty poor. That moment of Jarvis' brilliance got them back into the game at 1-1. Then they completely shot themselves in the foot with a completely needless penalty that they conceded a few minutes later. That made it 2-1, and then Mark Halstead was really at fault with the 3-1 winner just as they were moving into injury time. And although Thomas, who got that goal from range, then headed into his own net a few minutes later to give Torquay a little bit of hope, well, it was too little too late.
Thank you, Alan. Safe journey home from Weston-Super-Mare this evening. Top job as always, and you can catch Alan Richardson tomorrow evening here on BBC Radio Devon Sport from 7 o'clock, because we've got Plymouth Argyle taking on bottom side in the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday. Big thanks to our team here tonight. Thank you to producer Rick for guiding us through this evening, to Anthony Waring, our commentator, and Alan Tong as well, summarising at Pride Park, to Alan Richardson at Weston-Super-Mare, Torquay United, and Dave Thomas as well, who's been summarising for us here on BBC Radio Devon. I'm back with you tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. Have a great rest of your evening.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio Devon,
and on your radio.
The sound of Devon is
BBC Radio Devon.